So welcome everyone to the World Cup quarterfinals. Today's day for tiebreaks, and we got Peter Svidler and Maxime Vachier-Lagrave as the only players in tiebreaks. So it's just one match for everyone to watch.
Exactly. Hello, everyone. This is your analyst, uh, Yasser Seron, along with Eric Hansen, bringing you the chessbrah streaming coverage of the World Cup. This is our fifth round, and we're in tiebreakers. I'm having a little bit of difficulty with my internet connection. It seems to be flowing in and out, but I hope, fingers crossed, that I won't be booted off my network.
Yeah.
Hope so. Well, the players have been playing. Peter is a die-hard E4, E5 defense player, and he's been getting some very intriguing positions as he's picking up where Alexander Grishuk um, had been leading with this move A5.
We've seen this
In the
before.
past,
Yeah.
a couple of times. And I must say, I don't think that Maxime did very well with knight to 4.
So he's come up with something a bit.
So in the game,
Yep. CD4.
yeah, CD4, yeah, bishop B4, which is the whole idea behind A5 to try to secure the B4 square. And now we have I don't know, I don't think you could describe it as a French structure, but it definitely has echoes of a French defense. But Black's bishop is on E6 instead of, hiding behind a pawn chain, which includes the pawn on E6. So this has almost, for me, it has a lot of similarities between two defenses. An open Spanish on the one hand, and a French defense on the as well. What do you make of the position?
Well, it reminds. Yeah, I mean, it's quite concrete to me. But if I'm when I think about it as a French, the one issue is I would really want a pawn on e6 because I'm seeing positions where, you know, if white establishes a knight on d4, gets a lot of pressure against this bishop on e6, maybe a potential f4. Um, I can also say this seems to be very specific preparation that both players did on their free day or today,
Of course.
because this line I haven't seen too much except at the World Cup. I would say that um, Black's positions that he's been getting have been nice, um, but I like what Maxime has done. Maybe in rapid chess, it opens up the floor a little bit in the positions you can choose to put pressure on your opponent. It's a lot less time for your to solve positions. So what I mean by that is, okay, knight f1's on the board. Knight c6 to me seems almost standard.
Right.
You just bring your knight back to a good square and put
Yes, of
pressure in the
course.
center. Seems like pretty much an automatic move. And I was thinking to myself, what does MVL have in his prep here? Because my evaluation of it probably depends on that. Because if it's like, okay, take, well, it's starting to feel like maybe a good open Spanish for Black, as you mentioned.
Absolutely.
So it
Absolutely. Very
really,
good.
really depends on how he deals with this. Um, I'm very happy
Okay,
if I can. Yeah.
let's play
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Is that on the board? No.
let's play knight G3. I really, yeah, I see knight C6 as the most logical, like you were saying, knight G3. If you take on D4 with the knight, well, then you're kind of releasing my F4 pawn. And maybe I'm happy that I get this move F4. And yeah, this feels like an uncomfortable attack for white.
It,
So I think you don't capture on D4 with the knight.
Agreed. Yeah. It's also important because White wants to play f4, f5, and f6. h6 even
Absolutely.
accelerates that. So let's do c takes d4. Yes.
Okay, c takes
Yeah.
very logical move. Knight f5. What else? Knight f5. And now comes a key moment, right? For black. He has to decide if he's worried about moves like knight g7 and bishop h6, whether he's worried about knight h6 or bishop h6. A lot of sacrifices going on there. And if he's worried about those sacrifices, he does something like rook e8. But if he's not worried, he plays knight c5 and says, prove it.
Yep. Um, I'm liking White's opening choice. The more I
Okay.
look at it, I see that MVL gets a bit of an initiative, and Peter's a good defender actually. I don't
Yeah,
expect him to especially dynamic defender, but it's a rapid game. Let me refresh because I don't think the board times are up, but the time control's
are accurate.
25
Yeah,
minutes per player plus 10-second increment. So these games,
exactly.
if they're well played, they go about an hour.
And sometimes, like we saw in the Grishuk uh, MVL match, that second game went on for a long time to remind everybody that was a rook and pawn versus bishop and pawn. And that felt like an hour and a half. An amazingly long game. Uh, there's another. Uh, Boy, I must have woke up in my coffee uh, with a lot of caffeine. How about? Did they play C takes D4? Did Peter
Yes.
take
Yeah.
on D?
Yeah.
He did. Okay. Let's look at knight G3 for a sec. I'm not sure what's wrong with knight D4, but I had this in mind in the other variation. Knight C6 for black. Yeah. Bishop takes H6. Is that completely ridiculous? The idea, frankly, is if you take my bishop, I don't know what else. I was going to go queen c1, and if my queen gets to h6, well, look out below. Is this
I played the sacrifice the other day in a blitz game. It was I said if
you did?
I said it's a blitz game. I definitely have to try it out in blitz. Rapid I need to calculate a bit
Of
more,
course.
but I don't see the issue with it. This is a very quick attack.
It is. It is.
No, this
This one too.
that
Um, so, Peter played c takes d4,
yeah.
and did he do this so that in case of knight g3, he wanted to play rook c8 and stop queen c1? No idea, of course.
It's
I mean,
possible, but I would have to say this position should just be preferable for white. I don't need
no question.
I have the same sacrifices coming and um,
You haven't
something looks a
sacrificed
bit
anything yet.
something seems a bit
To
off.
get
Something seems a bit off here for black's position. This bishop um, wants to be on f8 as
okay.
a
Again,
defender.
again, very specific now, Eric. Knight c6.
Well, you went
Uh,
MVL quickly pulled out bishop c2.
ooh, oh, well, that's also a very direct approach. He wants queen d3, queen h7 mate.
No, I have to say I do like the opening right now. For white, all the lines I'm seeing, it just seems like a harder task to play as black. If this is a good variation or playable, which it most likely clearly is, because black has no immediate strategical threats. White can recoup the pawn if he
Right.
wants, and he's got this. But yeah, this is a different idea. Knight g3 also is good. Uh, I'm thinking the one benefit of not putting your knight on g3 immediately is in some
Yeah.
position, somehow you get in knight takes d4, you get an f4, and you put the knight on e3 for whatever reason. Maybe it, somehow does that.
Right.
That's an additional option. I still like knight g3, but here Peter's thinking, Yasser, because every single move he's got to deal with a big serve one way or another.
That's what I feel too. It feels like a big serve, and White is definitely, roll. Ooh, knight c5. Peter is definitely not going quietly. I thought Peter was going to play rook e8, queen d3, knight f8, but he has chosen knight c5 to queen d3.
I can say one move that White won't be playing is knight in a lot of lines is knight e6, fe6. Black will reply fe6, strengthening his center and getting some counterplay on the f file.
Right.
We're losing Yasser quite a bit today, guys. I think it's Sunday.
Defend against queen d3, but in some ways it's not really. Everybody's taking my space.
Yeah, we lost you for a bit there.
Am I back?
You're back. You're back.
Am I back?
Yes.
Okay. Uh, the knight on c5 definitely stops queen d3, but in some ways it's not the ideal piece on the c5 square.
No, and it also means this
It
bishop
blocks a lot of black's play.
the bishop on b4. You know what I'm starting to see. At some point, Black may try to sacrifice a pawn with knight e4, a well-timed knight e4. I'm not sure when that's going to be, but I wouldn't be surprised to see that. He's gone for f5.
Yeah. Yikes. Well, I understand what his problem is. Is this bishop on e6 is basically misplaced, and Black desperately needs to be able to play knight c5 to e4. So that was why he played f5.
And MVL playing quite quickly. He took back on f6, which takes away a bit of his space advantage, but also means that he can go into sort of a risk-free endgame at first glance. Let's say queen f6.
Yes.
That's what I'm seeing here. I was a bit.
Queen f.
I was thinking that I guess you have to take. It'd be nice to utilize this f4 square, but knight e4 is a very active solution for Black, just jamming all of White's pieces.
Exactly. So this is the current position, Eric. E takes f6, queen f6 box, right?
I mean, he could be thinking about rook takes f6 and trying to double on the f file. Maybe because queen f6, rook f6. I've been looking at this position, and I got to give White a slight pull here.
Oh, no question. I definitely feel that this is a nice position for White. I'm just not sure how nice. Let's say we play bishop f7 because we want to have the e6 square, and maybe I can play rook e8 and try to hack a lot of
I was
rooks on the
actually
block.
trying to make this move work, and after b3, b5, but it might be a bit too radical. What do you think?
Well, there's something to be said for that too.
For whatever reason, with the rooks like this, I thought maybe this is the time.
But here, I can play bishop d4 with idea of using the e file, either the e5 square for the rook or maybe the e7 square. I don't know. Knight h5 could be disturbing. I'm not sure. Where do you move? Where do you move the rook first of all?
Probably here.
Yeah, probably there. I agree. Well, okay. I don't see any major accidents here for Black. It looks playable.
Queen
But
f6.
maybe the move b2, b3 is a little slow. White doesn't need b3, does he?
No. So take here. I was playing this move because I do actually want to play rook e8 anyways, and I'm just trying.
Right.
I'm trying to keep you. Well, you did bishop f7. I did here because it does keep you a little bit honest.
Yeah, that is true. I guess the big diff is whether or not the d5 pawn is weak, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Should I start this position with bishop d4 attacking the rook? My idea is to trick you. Rook f4, bishop g7. Yeah. Okay.
No rook f4
Now,
for me.
no rook f4 for you. Now, that's kind of awkward that I can't utilize the f5 square somehow.
It's funny though that yeah, that you can't get this piece on e1, but it's a bit of a weird position. Both sides have
It
given
is,
a lot of squares. Both sides are very
definitely.
vulnerable on a lot of these squares. I mean, d5 still sticks out to me,
Yes.
but it's not as easy to take it.
Yes.
Like this knight wants to be on.
I got a
Oh,
new
good,
idea.
good. Okay.
I got a new idea, Eric. Instead of my move bishop d4, queen f6, rook f6, bishop e3 I like, bishop d7. How about knight h5? Knight h5.
Hmm.
I wanna target the g7 and d5 pawns. So here if you play rook e6, I got knight f4 and I'm happy. Right. Now knight f4, gift me the pawn. Oh, you got a tricky yourself. Ooh, that wasn't on my agenda. Nope, nope. That worked out very nicely for you. So I can't play knight f4.
He went.
Apologies.
White went for bishop e3 first, so a bit of a. I guess
Not to trade
not
queens.
to trade queens, or saying if you trade queens, you already put my bishop on a good square.
Right.
So trade queens under.
Very
Yeah,
logical.
yeah.
Very logical. If we're going to trade queens, do it on my terms. I like that move.
I believe one of the threats here, Yasser, and the positions we're just looking at were
Hmm.
without the queens. Imagine there's queens on the board, and white has this structure.
Right.
That is dangerous.
Yeah.
So let's say a move. I'll even make a baby move like rook e8. I think a move like queen to d1 might actually be played, and going for the exact same position, but with the queens on the board, and then those tricks, those
With queen.
tactics. Uh,
Yeah.
it's a it's a much more dangerous position. Like this is scary now. Now bishop gets a
Yes.
d4. This long diagonal seems sort of permanent. I'm hesitant to play some of the natural moves. Let's say bishop f7,
Yeah.
bishop d4. Knight's coming to
Understood.
f5. Something bad's going to happen. So
Yeah.
I think that's a threat. I mean, I can play
Yeah.
this move to
I
stop it. That
get it.
I mean, this rook d8, but the rook, if we look at rook d8, then white can already transition to the end games we were just looking at. Well, actually, sorry,
Where the
no,
rook
no,
on.
I'm wrong. There's actually just bishop d4, and the
Right.
tactics.
You got a problem. There's a. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, rook d8 is a very helpful move for white.
So I think this is a time where Peter's gonna think, yeah, sir.
Excuse me, I
Bl-
just had a terrible sneeze.
oh,
Sorry.
no, bless you, bless you.
Okay, well,
I think that was
thank you,
critical.
thank you.
Peter,
Gesundheit, yes.
Peter traded queens because those positions were looking very dangerous, giving white the option to keep the queens on the board. So he's traded off, um,
Yeah,
and now there's a same threat of taking here, but okay, with the queens off, you're not getting mated. So it's just about holding on to your loose pawns.
exactly. And that's the problem is it's much easier for white to target the d5 pawn than for black to target anything in white's camp. This just looks like a pleasant advantage for white, actually.
Not gonna have to agree with you there. The moves that I find myself having to play for black are very hard because number one, there's nothing natural here, and number two, I have to
Right.
look out for tactics. So I have to calculate every move. Like
Yeah.
like like I need to use tactics to solve the position. It feels like, with this bishop f7, just for example, I
Yeah.
can't play that. quickly.
Knight
I'd
f5.
have to calculate knight f5, which is a move just to.
Looks really strong,
This
actually.
is very frightening to me.
Yeah.
Bishop d7.
I,
What? This
I
is
like this move, actually, bishop d7.
Bishop d7 is
Uh,
looking somehow to be the more stable square, uh,
right.
but
Because from Black's point of view, he'd probably be very, very happy to get rid of the rooks.
yeah, I was trying to make this work, Yasser, and I was trying to find cheapos.
Yeah, check.
Bishop
I
h7
saw
check,
that one.
king
Yeah,
goes to f8, and I don't have a follow up, and then I'm wishing
that's
my
the
bishop was back. So bishop d7 is on the board, and I think that's pretty much
he
the
did
only
put
move. Yeah.
bishop d. Yeah,
I do like that the pressure it puts on this, and Maxime quickly uh, played rook
wow,
d1,
wow, very quickly.
and that's based on calculation. So if bishop takes d4, I take on c5, and it's overloaded. Black just
Right,
loses a piece. But if you do knight takes a4, I have knight
right,
h5. And who would
right.
willingly allow this? Rook f7 runs into this. And otherwise, while this might be okay, you might actually be able to give up the g-pawn, or you're forced to, and maybe
Hmm.
trade rooks. It's,
But this knight on c5 looks really offside, and all of White's pieces are good.
yep.
I mean, all of White's pieces are very good here. Uh, I, uh, I would be, I would be very afraid if I were white, if I were black in that position that you just showed. Knight takes a4, knight h5.
Yeah, so the good thing is your internet's getting better.
Excellent.
We haven't lost it.
Okay, I got no, I don't have a line. I was thinking of rook on a8 to e8.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, again, maybe I shouldn't take, but maybe like there's also the positional approach. I was thinking of playing b3, if you in case you do things like
Yes.
this, and my knight reroutes to c3, and I try to just
Yes.
camp there. But okay, you're going here. Let's see what I can do for you.
Right.
The first. Wait a second.
Yes.
Are you going for cheapos?
Yes.
Okay, take
I was going to take with the
rook.
bishop.
No, I thought you were going for cheap. Okay, bishop. I
Okay.
was
But
sure you were going to somehow come up with some sort of tactic after rook e8, bishop c5, rook d5. This isn't pretty, but I think I win a piece. And after check, I thought you were going to say, no, knight f1's the problem. And be like,
yes,
Eric, I
this is a
caught you.
draw.
I caught you here.
Yeah.
But knight f1, and I was trying to find
And
a square, but
yeah,
it's not working out.
that is true. Well, yeah, that is
So,
true.
so
I don't have a good.
bishop
Yeah.
takes.
Yeah.
And now,
I'm not happy. I'm not happy for black. I think he's going to. He's
okay.
still facing.
Oh,
Oh, b3. That's a good pause. It it means that I can play knight e6 now,
yeah,
and I'm thinking,
but okay, this doesn't seem ideal to me. So let's say you get in,
no, it's
you
not.
get in your 96. I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
I'm probably gonna keep this bishop on the long diagonal because I'm a little concerned about bishop c5
bishop
at the right
c5,
time. So
which is was my intention, of course, is to play bishop c5 ASAP. Good move, a good move indeed. Um, Now, I think white's better, but I just don't know how, quote, bad is it. Knight f4?
hmm
Knight f5? Not sure. Or do you have a better move?
well,
Maybe you
knight
do.
f5. I'm a little concerned about getting somehow. I thought this knight might actually be good on c3,
C3.
protecting d5 and just jumping
Just
around my position,
harassing.
just harassing. Let's
Yeah.
see if they've made a move. Okay, wow, it's on the board, Yasser. This is
What?
on the board.
Yeah,
This
bishop takes e8. Yeah, I think that this was
we've we're
well, sometimes as a defender, you find yourself in a position where you have only moves. Like rook takes e8 didn't work because of that tactic with rook takes d5 and black's bishops are both hanging, right? So bishop takes e8. Now, what did you play last time, Eric?
I played b3. I just wanted to
b3.
see,
Just call me the position.
yeah,
Yeah.
what are you threatening? But knight e6, knight f4 is an active solution. I was tempted at first, Yasser, to play a move like knight f5, but I just didn't see the tactics in my head, and I might be missing something. But
Okay.
with the pieces trading off, bishop takes a4,
Right.
and I was looking for a move here, but it just didn't seem like the tactics were working. Knight e7 ran into this,
Right.
and black can, well, black has a couple
Take
options,
them.
but he can take the knight if he wants to.
Right.
Um,
Right.
so this was an issue. Um, but if that's not a move I can play, well, a4 is hanging.
A4 is
With knight
hanging.
takes
Yeah.
a4. Well, I don't see another move. B3 seems almost forced to me.
Right.
I'm not playing rook a1.
So
I'm not the sort of guy to play rook a1.
nobody, you would you wouldn't get high marks for Rook A1, that is for sure, Eric. I mean, I know the Canadian school of chess is very unique, but one of the things that I must say about the Canadians that I've all met and played with, they're active players. They're not the sort that would play Rook A1.
No, no. We
No,
like
that's
we
that's vile.
we like roaming around. We like space, and rook a1 is a bit too cramped.
Yeah,
Uh, you
you
know. Uh,
like the big open spaces. Okay, b3, more or less best move. Knight
Thank you.
e6.
Hmm.
Yeah, b3, knight e6. And then where does his bishop go? Your first shot was bishop b6, but we thought knight f4. Black is somehow just in time to solve a lot of his problems.
I mean, the more I look at it, black is closer to holding it than the advantage is there, but nothing significant. But you're not
Right.
at the position yet as black where you can sacrifice the pawn, I think. But it's actually almost tempting. Like when I look at this line, and I'm just
Oh,
saying
I would
bishop,
be very happy as black to get rid of that.
but it's for the cost of a pawn.
Yes, 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 yes.
I don't
But you
think you
got
need
the
to
two
do,
bishops.
but I don't
Yeah.
think you need to do it yet, right?
Okay. No, I mean, it's by no means forced. It just feels like yesterday, intriguingly enough, by the way, we had a game between Ivanchuk, who needed to win against Levon Aronian, getting into an ending, almost this exact type of ending, where he'd given up a pawn for the two bishops and gotten, you know, even a pull, a little bit of a pull. I mean, there was a fortress that Levon could establish, but this isn't, just a pawn down.
No, I agree. I agree. I mean, that's why like black's not super worried. Okay, b3's on the board. B5. The more pieces I get traded off, okay. Three. If white has no pawns on the queen side left, 3 on 2. The potential of winning this pawn, but having a 3 on 2 majority is still in the drawing zone. So
Yes.
Slither's doing what he has to do. B5
Yeah.
take take, and I mean
Well,
now,
this knight on g3 needs to be on e3. It needs to jump into the game somehow.
yeah, that's this E3 square is looking more and more attractive. Okay, so now it's my turn, Yasser, and I'm gonna play
Yeah.
knight
Knight
f5.
Okay, well, you're obviously eyeballing the pawn on g7. I feel knight e6 is forced. I don't see much of an alternative there.
Bishop e3.
e3. Okay,
Happy
you're
to play.
attacking my pawn on d5. Dirty rat think. I'm going to defend it. I don't know. Should I defend it with the rook or with the bishop? Let's defend it with the rook because I don't know. If you lose the blockade, I have a dream. D5, D4, D3.
Yes.
You,
No,
you,
you
you,
you have this move
you're not
coming.
going to give me.
This is a
Yeah,
very
yeah,
nasty move.
yeah. But don't tell Eric that. I have Bishop E2 and D4 in mind.
I'm starting to learn how to read your mind, Yasser.
No.
That's
By the way, I don't know if you noticed, but today I'm in my comfy outfit. You know, I got my denim shirt on, but my undershirt, I'm trying to channel my
Oh,
inner Eric.
I need to maximize the webcam. That is the T-shirt with my face on it. For those who don't know, um, yes. Oh yeah, so I got to maximize that later. But we'll get. That's a perfect intermission topic.
Exactly.
Perfect intermission topic. Bishop. So we're expecting some moves here. Bishop E3. How did it go, Yasser? Oh, we were looking at knight F5, weren't we? He just went bishop E3 to put pressure here.
Ah, no. Uh, yeah, that's right. Well, the players could transpose after rook d8, knight f5, knight e6, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah, but wait a minute. Oh, he played bishop c6. Okay, a different approach than the one I was thinking
Which
about.
what was your approach here?
There was a difference in my approach was knight f5 right away, right?
Right.
Because now after rook d8, knight e2, I have bishop e2. If I want to be, oh no, I don't. Rook takes d5. Geez, knight e7 check. That's why I have to play knight e6. Ah, okay, sorry. Um, a mistake from me. Um, he played bishop c6 instead.
Yes.
So I guess Peter is saying, why do I have to post my knight on e6? Let me post it on e4.
When would you ever post it on E4?
Well, in their game position.
Oh, okay. No, yeah, okay. I was looking at the in the future. When
Yeah.
the rook's on D8, then you don't play knight E4, but here
Uh,
you can do it. Uh-huh, so knight
yeah.
E4.
I think that's his idea.
So,
Yeah.
okay, so bishop E3 happened, hitting D5, bishop C6,
Right.
defending it. It feels like the pieces are stacked here, but there's no tactics. Fortunately, it's all working. Knight F5, threatening check.
Knight e7 check. Yeah.
Knight E4.
Big threat.
Now you're
Right.
covering it with the bishop. And knight back to D4.
Right.
So I think MVL's playing with tactics here, Yasser. An example. Uh-oh, we're losing Yasser. Sorry, guys.
Oh no.
We're losing you a
Oh
little
no.
bit.
Sorry. Uh, I think sometimes on the weekend my neighbors all get on my bandwidth somehow. I'm not sure how it works.
um, Bishop
So,
B7. I'm just saying there's some tactics here that I'm starting to see. They may not work, but moves like knight here, and you try to.
yeah. Sorry, I was just
Oh,
talking
okay,
to
no,
Yvette,
no problem.
my wife, to see if why the choppiness is occurring. I may have to relocate after this back to downstairs.
Oh, I think people
Um,
people have been
so
asking you to go to the kitchen because then they're hoping you might cook for them as well. Like we can see you cook, make coffee, and talk about chess. No, the kitchen definitely gives a lot better reception.
right.
I was just saying
Yes.
these lines, you're not technically a lot better as white, but you may play for some tactics if all else fails.
Right. So here I'm having a bit of a vexing problem because I think it's just position specific. Should I put my bishop on b7, Eric, and just forever like protect the e4 square and maybe shift my rook to the c file? Should I put my bishop on d7 where an argument can be made that it's a little bit more flexible? This is an awkward decision for Peter. And by the way, there's a 2-to-1 time edge if our clocks are accurate. You may have to refresh.
I think they are accurate. I think MVL is being very practical here. It's a no risk position. He's playing against an isolated pawn, and
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say I think most people
Yes.
peg MVL's chances higher in the rapid portion than in the classical. That Peter, while he's a very good uh, blitz and rapid player, MVL's sort of exceptional. He specializes in that, and his results in the Grand Chess Tour and some of the
Let's
strongest rapid
speak
events
to that.
speak to that. So
Yeah.
I mean, the players were both okay to go into the tiebreaks. They didn't try to kill each other necessarily before going for it,
No, they didn't.
but MVL um, is a
Favorite.
super fast calculator. So if you've seen
Yeah.
Peter, and he commentates quite often, and he's excellent, I can say that his processing speed uh, is really good. But if I had to name a few guys who just calculate unbelievably well and fast
Yeah.
and can just play quickly and high quality moves, MVL is I mean, he's world number three right now, but he is that's all he's a machine. He's like
Yeah.
100 miles an
Nothing
hour,
else to say.
and
Yeah. Well, for me, he and Magnus, I think there's literally only two people in the world that can compete in bullet against Hikaru. And I think Hikaru's better than MBL, but I'm just saying that it's Magnus and Hikaru as far as bullet and blitz are concerned. Now, the rapid is a little. Could you refresh the board, because I'm sure by this time the clocks have changed.
you're sure?
Yeah, because nothing's happened. It's been
No,
16 minutes for MBL and 8 minutes for Peter Svidler.
but it said he had.
The
It
last,
looks like Rook B8 was played in F3. The clocks are okay. Let me
yeah,
find the
just go
board
ahead
again.
and refresh.
This is what I'm getting. Yeah, sir. 16-4. Rook B8 was played in F3.
Oh, I'm looking at your screen, and the last move I saw is 31 knight d4. I haven't seen any change
Uh,
since 31 knight d4.
do you see it now?
Nope.
But I'm sharing my screen, and my screen should show F3. This is.
No.
Can you refresh your page? So you're in
Uh,
Skype looking at my screen because the board is
yes.
updated here.
Oh, really?
33 F3. I mean, that's automatic. No, I didn't move anything. The game is
No, I didn't see even Peter's answer to knight d4. You haven't made a move in some time.
there's some
On my,
yeah, there's some lag there because I know the people can see the
wow.
board. Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to refresh our Skype connection or something.
Do you want to try that?
Yeah, sure. End the call and call me back,
Okay.
please.
So Peter Fiddler though getting in time trouble. Sorry about this. We'll get Yasser in the kitchen, but critical moment because if he gets in serious time trouble, I do not like his
I'm
chances.
back, I hope.
You are back
Okay.
now.
Share with me your
There it
screen.
is.
And yes, now I see updated moves. Knight d4, bishop d7. Okay. Yeah, that was a tough call. Bishop d3, rook b8. What was Peter's idea of rook b8?
Well, he wants to get counterplay against the b3 pawn. Um,
Okay, with bishop c5 next.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
By the
Normally,
way, he has to start playing faster because he's just asking
yes.
for problems. One thing that MVL is exceptional for, and probably my I think best lecture I did in St. Louis was on it. He's really good with the two bishops in playing them. He
Right.
doesn't have the bishop. Well, he has the bishop pair here, but so does Black. I mean, but his end games are very good as well. He's a really good end game player
Yes.
when he has a little edge. Doesn't need a winning advantage. He can play the end games really well. Part of that is his calculating ability that he can see so far. But even this sort of position is one of those positions that in a blitz game people lose these all the time. You know, having one weakness, having
Yes.
it doesn't matter that you're equal. You have to hold that equality for an extended period of time. But he's
Right.
really good with playing with this sort of construction. I've seen it quite a bit. I mean, there's a couple plans to improve here as white. Do I gain more space and set up a mating net,
Right.
h4 h5, and sort of even g4, and like the king is stuck there?
Right.
Um, do I just, and actually that looks like
A very good
a
plan.
good plan. And as long as there's three pieces on the board and that rook, this is going to get more and more unpleasant. Even with the queen side traded off, white is still preferable, and the time advantage is building. And it's like, as black, you want to relieve pressure, you need to trade off pieces because your
Exactly.
king can't come out comfortably until more
Right.
pieces are off. This knight's going to hop around. How do you do that? How do you
Right.
actually trade off pieces? You can't just still trade. You can't just, for example, do a move like
Yeah.
bishop here. Okay, first of all, blunder something, but you can't give up the bishop pair or anything yet either. Like you still
Right.
have positional considerations.
Right. Yeah.
Um, Somebody asked if I've played MVL. I've played MVL a lot. Blitz, Bullet, and classical once, and I have close to
Hmm.
an even score. But he's a bit of a. But that was before he was. That was when he was top 20, but not a
Top
top
two.
five behemoth.
Yeah, definitely white for choice, no question. Great blockading knight against the passed pawn. Uh,
Well,
White's bishops are kind of better placed, covering a lot of squares, and you can get a little bit of a cramp going on the king side with the pawn storm.
what I'm realizing, yeah, like I was like, white can just make these moves. The problem for black, yeah, is just how do you get this knight out of the game?
Right. I'm thinking you were mentioning that it's in black interest to trade off some pieces. I'm thinking black should probably start with bishop d7.
Okay,
Oops, sorry,
take
it's white to
here,
play.
bishop
Bishop to
d7.
d7, h5. Yeah, it was funny because black's knight was on c5, and now it's almost like you want to put it back on c5. So maybe something like rook c8. Um, just I don't know. I'm just saying yeah, okay, now I've got something I can work with. Now I can go bishop c5
That's
and
not
not
the
worry
move
about.
I wanted to allow, I, but
Right.
I don't know where to put my king. This,
Maybe g4 and king g2. Your king might be nicer on g2.
yeah,
I don't.
no, no, g4 is a move I wanted to play. I wasn't sure.
Right.
If, it's a move I almost want to keep in my pocket, but no,
Gotcha.
it makes sense.
But
But
it's definitely white for choice, yeah. Oh, king h2.
I'm trying to figure out why he
Wow.
hasn't been playing G4, by the way. That's that's sort of perplexing to me. It seems, sorry, H4. H4 and
H.
H5. What's going on here, Yasser? Isn't the other line much safer and also very, like it?
It's too.
It's.
It's much more
I
to the
mean,
point.
you're giving
What?
what?
By the way, f4 to my way of thinking is just a big mistake because my knight's on c3 was stranded, and you're giving me e4.
I
What? Knight
no, but the
e1.
whole
Wow.
this is all very strange to me. He had a comfortable edge.
Yes.
He didn't have.
Very
There's no
comfortable.
space for this knight to move, and
Yes.
he's giving black all squares and checks and just
Is knight d1 on the board display?
yeah, it's on the board, yeah. So no, but like
Looks like a cool move, by the way.
look at black's position compared to
I
just a
like it.
normal h4, and black has issues to solve. Um, s- wi-
In those lines,
I'm
not in this position.
well here he's giving Peter some life. What's going on here?
Well,
Is it rook
who
b2?
who's better and why is the sudden question.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I'm not sure I would be unhappy at all
he's.
if I had
I
black.
think he's baiting Peter, but I'm not sure it's.
It was
No,
a wise
I'll
choice.
give an example. Yeah, so I'm gonna play Bishop D2,
Yes.
and he's actually.
Yeah.
I think he's. I think he's played some bad moves, but Peter might go wrong in trying to punish that. I don't know. I'll give you an example. Okay, so check.
Please.
So Rook B2, I'm
Yes.
gonna go check King here,
King f7. Yeah.
and something like this. Maybe.
What?
Well, That's the only move, right? Or I block it. I don't want to keep the piece on the board. And I'm looking at a move
Okay.
like Rook B2, and is he trying to set up something here where, Knight F5, and by giving black space, he also gives himself some more options, but it's not, no, it's very strange to me.
Very strange. Very strange way of playing because in this variation that you're showing, one of the things you've lost is the blockade. I like that knight on d4. I like the bishop on e3. I thought h4, g4, those variations we were looking at, very safe and sound advantage for white. Knight d1, by the way, really surprised me. I thought the knight was going to go to e4 just a move ago, move 37. I didn't understand it because I thought the move f4 gave up the e4 square. And, one thing we know about knights, they love protected squares, and knight e4 was knight e4 is a good square. Okay, this is the position now, Eric?
This is the current position. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
it's sort of cool. There are quite a few. So
Cool.
Peter's been playing
Yes.
this game called Hearthstone, which seems to have a big following
You
among chess
mentioned it.
players. But right now in the chat on Twitch, there are quite a few professional players watching this game, and yeah,
Really?
there's a you can check.
Professional Hearthstone
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
players? Yeah.
involved. Yeah, so it's the crossover, which is quite cool. You can tell by there's like usually a check marker or some verification, but
I see.
that's quite cool to see.
Yeah.
That
Okay. Well, what's going on, Eric, in this position? Bishop f5, rook b2?
well,
What's the
no, Bishop,
idea?
are you falling for my bait? I mean, you're just asking for tactics. No, I mean, I get Bishop C. Oh, I'm blundering that. Okay, so I need to do this properly. So
Well, maybe you're not blundering it. Maybe you're playing the right way, because your rook would be hanging. If you didn't interpolate the check on c8, your rook on c1 would be hanging. Maybe bishop takes f4 check, king g1, and too many black pieces are hanging. What do you think?
yeah, no, that's correct. I mean, this rook actually gets hunted down if done
Isn't that
properly.
weird?
Or I mean, yeah, like, but this is what like does MVL know I mean, he's playing risky and objectively not the best way, but at the same time, it gives Peter
Yeah.
more ways to go wrong. It's still Magnus would not have done this or something like that. I mean, H4 is just such a natural move, but okay, I can't. I mean, I guess no. I think it's fair to criticize because this black has now achieved what I think is just an okay position by not going
That's
for the
funny.
tactics.
uh, Peter decided, and by the way, Peter's time is really
Yeah.
become uh, very, very serious. You internally, you feel that clock ticking, and when you get down to 2 minutes, it's sort of like your anxiety level, ramps up. It's funny, but when we see the move f4 on move 37, it's like Black's next five moves, including a king move, were with his knight, and he put his knight back on f6. If he did the move knight d1, if he had played knight e4 right away, he would have kept White's light square bishop out of action.
Yeah, so
Having said that, what's going on?
something scary is going on here.
What's
I guess here is the only move. I was trying to make this work. I didn't realize I was dropping a pawn, but no, what I was worried about in the current position
was losing a piece? Yeah.
was knight takes d6 rook here and f5.
Danger alert!
Uh,
Big, big,
that's
big danger alert.
that's f5 is a current threat. It's not. It's Black's move, but he wants to set up rook c8 or f5 and
Yesterday, Levon came up with a great, great move. It may not be good for this position, this specific position, but Levon had this great shot g5 when he needed it. Here, the problem is g5 runs into f5 anyway, right?
nice move by Peter, by the way, because he's in time to play this.
What?
Did I blunder?
Knight. Oh, knight takes e8, rook takes f7. Lucky, lucky. Very nice.
Still,
Okay.
still, still some work to be done because he's down to a minute. But rook e7,
Then I,
f5, yeah, he can at least challenge that because if you let this bishop park itself on
no,
g6, no, you're asking to get mated at some point.
precisely. Absolutely. But at this exact moment, it feels like White's active pieces, the knight on d6, bishop on f7, you know, he's close to something very tangible, but I don't think yeah,
So this is on the
this
board,
was
bishop e6, g6, because
right,
he doesn't want to let white just slowly push him. Um,
right. Perfect move, by the way. Perfect. Just really fortunate timing for black.
yeah, getting closer and closer to a draw. Hopefully he can stay over a minute.
All right. 11?
Pardon me? Yeah, sir? Yeah, sir. We gotta send you to the kitchen. I can't hear you.
Oh, no.
I think you're being banished to the
Yeah.
kitchen where the internet is better.
Okay. Uh,
After the game.
it'll take me,
Uh,
just go ahead and end the call and I'll be back.
oh, okay, okay. All right. You guys are stuck with me until Yasser's back, hopefully with better internet in the kitchen. Um, but some action here. Knight takes e8, knight e8, take, take, and MVL is all of a sudden up a pawn in this. So g6 was, the problem is if rook takes e8, it gives up the check, and I can throw this move in, and then I win the pawn anyways. And most importantly, winning this pawn is more important because white can get a 3-1 majority with the potential of 2 connected pass pawns. So this is still not done yet. Black down a pawn, down 8 minutes on the clock, and the problem is this is going to be a very long game. We're probably going to get Yasser back during this game. The problem for black is there's no way to just draw this or no plan to trade everything off. These pawns are so safe, and white has no need to rush into the attack. So probably first gaining some space and then slowly pushing it. Objectively, it's a draw. I mean, you can't get more than one passed pawn out of the two, and black can either sacrifice the knight for that pawn in a certain situation or just try to hold. But I think he's just going to play for practical chances and put Peter under continue this time pressure. But yeah, there's even the issue that this H pawn is not even the right color. It can, it's the wrong pawn, even if it was passed. So setup here is king g3, king f4. The rook covers the checks. The pawn covers the checks. That's a setup here, but Peter should not lose this. This should, if he keeps his current structure, this is perfect. White will never play h5 because that gives up the g5 square, and then you'll never really get to play g5, but also this knight can maybe even utilize that square. You don't want to put all your pawns on the color of your bishop. So I think Peter's got the right structure here.
Hello, Eric.
Hello. Let me share the screen. Yasser
Please
is
do.
back
And in the kitchen. Aha!
Back and better than ever.
So Peter survived to.
Yeah, he should be holding this. His current.
Right. Let me just catch.
no. Oh no.
What happened?
Oh no.
What?
Oh no. I'm on the wrong wireless. Just a
I can
second.
tell because you're still choppy. Trying to figure out what White's gonna do here to try to even keep some hope. You're just not gonna play G5 ever. One pawn's not enough. No, I think Svidar will hold this. We're waiting for Yasser. Yasser has disappeared again. Okay, the good thing is the players have drawn. So if they draw again, you know, you're gonna get more commentary, more Yasser. We need them to prolong their game. But yeah, I just expect Black to shuffle the rook. And you're safe on the dark squares. You just know that playing against his light squared bishop. I shuffle, I shuffle, I shuffle. G5 can come at some point. I'll take once. And I'm covering all the lateral checks, so I'll move the knight away. And should be good. Should be a simple solution.
Hello.
I think that sounds better. You keep,
Yeah.
yes, that's the Yasser we need.
But then
We
I'm
don't
nice
deserve,
and
but the
dark.
Yasser we need.
Okay, you need to share your screen with me?
Yep, yep.
All right. Okay, I'm missing the whole game here, which is very annoying, of course. But what have I missed?
Not much, because they're playing a 2-on-1 knight and rook against bishop and rook endgame,
I
which
see.
is very harmless. Wrong pawn on the H file, and just, yeah, this is just, to me, a very straightforward draw. And MVL is going to play this on, obviously, but
Right.
I don't see any practical issues here.
No. Agreed. Okay, and let me get rid of that screen. Okay, good.
You just,
Now,
yeah, you just, whenever the king gets close, just an
yeah,
example, you give a check,
yes,
king goes
you
back.
keep checking.
Let's say you check
Yeah,
and they block like this. Okay. As soon as
you
that
go
happens,
back.
I go back. And
Right,
I can't, defend on the right.
right.
I can't defend and attack at the same time. I mean, I can't shelter the jacks and proceed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Peter's going to have any issue holding this.
Right.
It helps when you know that you're drawing, right? It's not like,
Yeah.
he knows that this is a draw. He
A
has that pressure
fortress,
to
yeah.
find the right moves, but there's no
Yeah.
doubt. And we'll see. If MVL can come up with something here, he's a legend. That's
He's
I
the
don't
legend.
even know how to trick my opponent, how to set up. What would a trick be? I mean, that's what you have to look for. You know that the end games are drawn. You don't want to play this.
Right.
Don't want to play this until you have to. Do I try to play for
Mm-hmm.
rook c8 and g5? Well, there's still no mate there, so
No. And Black's king is on a perfect square. It's a dark square, so no trouble from White's bishop. And the only piece that could dislodge Black's king is the rook. And if you were, I don't even know how you would do it, but if you were to engineer an exchange of rooks, that's a dead draw too. H5. Wow. Okay, that's a rather committed move.
well,
I'm just
you can't do this yet because rook g6 check.
finally you got a trick, but okay.
So I'm
I
just
guess
gonna.
I just have to.
Oh, his idea is that this, yeah, sir.
Right.
Although that's nice here. Rook takes, rook check. Usually you have another check, but not in this
But you
case.
don't. Yes.
Okay, so he actually is threatening king f5. Some good stuff here. I mean, again, rook e7, king here. There's no way for the rook to defend. We see the domination by the
The
bishop.
rook
and rook.
g6. Yeah.
Okay, so now
H5.
he can kick the king back, which he's done.
Yes.
So MVL with some pressure. Yeah, that's some pressure. And now it's about keeping this rook. The rook has two squares, unfortunately, and this is a safe square. It's a safe space. So let's start off with here.
Fair enough.
And are you
Now
going to
here-
sacrifice or not?
No, I was thinking, no, I wouldn't go into the rook. I was thinking about the rook ending. Maybe I'm losing. Maybe it's a draw. Rook a4 for just a sec. Eric, is this an ending I want? I think I do. King g7.
This is a draw.
Yes,
This is a
that's what
draw.
I'm saying. So I think I can meet your rook f7 with rook a4. Ooh, he played king back?
Well, because of exactly what you said,
Ex-
that
Right,
that he needs to stop that pin.
right.
Um,
But how is he handling rook check then?
well, then he's got 8 minutes to figure it out. Peter didn't go for it.
I, by the way, that was a very serious question. It was asked flippantly, of course, but rook a3 check actually is awkward, right? Because g4 is hanging. You got to go back
No,
up the
that's what
board.
I mean. He would have had to.
Yeah,
He would have played it though. Like,
had to, yeah, had to figure it out. But Peter obviously when he played rook e5, he felt like he was being given a better opportunity um, there. Hmm.
so my question, Yasser, is: do you ever
Yes.
play knight h7, knight g5?
Yes, you do. I was actually thinking that Peter was going to play, well, ooh, but there is a trick. If we go back a move, Eric, rook a5, if you go knight h7 right away, I've got check and check on g8, and I force you to a bad square, that square.
Well, you win a pawn. Yeah.
I'm not 100% sure I'd still be winning, but okay, yeah. Because king e5, rook takes, knight g5,
Very very active.
active in some kind of blockading schemes. But you don't want to you don't want to lose the pawn, of course.
Yeah.
So what's our current position? Whoa.
Pete,
Uh-oh. I think MVL missed a trick.
Peter had a trick. He baited him,
Peter,
yeah. So he was low on time, and MVL sensed some tactics here.
opportunity.
Knight g4, king g4, rook e4 check, and after rook
Yes,
f4, it's the wrong pawn.
precisely.
And so it's simple. And so low on time, he baited MVL, and this game is going to be a draw.
Good draw.
Classic wrong pawn.
Stalemate. It's classic. Nice, uh, nice defense by
Yes,
Peter's fiddler in a very difficult position and low on the clock.
very very difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is the kind of game that MVL, he kind of questions himself. He says, gee, I almost had everything I could possibly want. What kind of position do I need to beat this guy?
Yeah. So
I thought
king
this
h2
was,
is
what the
what?
hell?
Yeah,
That's
yeah, yes. I mean, I don't know why you wouldn't play h4, h5. I mean, he ended up trying to do stuff like that anyways. But
exactly.
if I'm gonna create that, let's say, box, I'm gonna use my
Yes,
h pawn because my f pawn provides safety for my king and it covers the e4 square. I mean, it's
well,
just so logical.
absolutely. No, and I'm sure in Blitz, in Bullet,
And bullet.
H4 would be first choice by far. King H2 was, like head scratcher. What? And if you just go back, when he did play that move F4, by the way, I mean, it was, in my opinion, such a wrong-headed move, boneheaded decision, because after F4, knight E4, you stop yourself, because this knight on C3 is actually a little stranded, right? And now it's on a glorious square. I mean, you got to be worried about rook b2 and maybe g5. Things can suddenly go wrong in a hurry here for white. So f4, I think, threw away the lion's share of white's advantage.
I mean, I,
Mystified,
I'm
right?
actually mystified because
Yeah.
he's a very good technical player and just something something very strange like that was a position that I really thought was very unpleasant in the context of a rapid game, that the onus
Yes.
is completely on black every single
Yes.
move to try to maintain the balance, maintain his construction, which is very reliant on tactics and stuff. I mean, that the knight can't be trapped and the pieces can't be kicked out. But I mean, you know, h5, knight f5, bishop d4. When you fix these pawns, fixing these pawns is such a big improvement.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a big miss by MVL based on position and based on time, that he couldn't extract more, because the way it happened, Peter actually, he had to find a couple key moves, Yasser. I can say that it was the only pressure he got MVL was with this little idea to try to go for mate. But after just, you know, one precise move here, and then the second precise move, White was on the better side of it, but the defensive task was
eased considerably just by trading everything off. I'm also I'm trying to get to that. I'm trying to understand what MVL might have been thinking, and that was where you got this position where after King H2, Bishop D6. I'm just thinking to myself, my goodness.
Move back.
Did Black even have a chance to go G5? Like I'm thinking that this move F4 was so bad that I'm just wondering if
are you not concerned about well, G5, I can go knight F5 and go into that. I don't think it's necessary to I mean, he's not Peter one thing about Peter is he's a very natural player, so he probably would just not look at this out of principle, like based on the game and whatnot. But I agree that it's something to consider.
Well, I'm just wondering, you know, like if White had lost such control, you know, you're almost thinking like, man, do I get a chance to get an initiative? Yeah, no, but you're pointing out a nice variation where
you got it. You lose the pawn.
Yeah. No, I'm just I'm so thrown backwards by the move F4 that I'm just thinking, man, you know.
It's F4 and King H2. Because when you play King H2, you're saying you want to play F4. You're not playing G3, or you're moving your king back, and, you know, which wasn't the plan.
Wasn't. No, it wasn't. Not when you played King H2. But yeah, no, I love that structure you were trying to achieve, which was H4, H5, put the pawn on G4, put the king on G2, and just say to Black, okay, you know, you're cramped, you're suffering, and what you going to do about it? A big miss. All right, so that means that we're set up for
we're set up for a break. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a coffee and.
Well, your internet's good. Your internet's
good.
A lot better than before.
Okay.
You belong in the kitchen.
I belong in the kitchen. There you go.
That's it's working.
I'm at home in the kitchen. I'm at home in the kitchen. I feel comfortable in the kitchen. I know my way around a kitchen. All right, so I'm going to take a break, and I'll be back in 5.
Sounds good, Yasser.
All right.
I think the second rapid game starts in 20 minutes. They usually do it every half hour or at the hour. So I'm guessing it's in 20 minutes, but I'm going to keep the board on the screen in case they make moves before then. But I'm pretty sure we have a 20-minute break. Maybe we'll have story time. But thanks again to everybody tuning in this Sunday. I know there's a lot of other things you could be doing, but we appreciate the company. We have about 2,000 viewers right now. Hopefully it spikes up. I'm hoping this match goes to an Armageddon. We have yet to see an Armageddon tiebreak in this 2017 World Cup. But this match has been very even so far, all draws. Hopefully it goes deep. That would be fun for us. Want to give a shout out to a few of the subscribers. If you want to support the stream, support our commentary. September's a great month because it's 50% off to subscribe. on Twitch for first time members, and so it's, just go to twitch.tv/chessbrah, and there's a button on the video for that. Why not be mad? 21 months in a row. We're actually at our all-time high, almost 600 subscribers, which is pretty cool. For Twitch standards, that's higher than most channels, even in more popular games. So it's good news, because I think chess has a future on Twitch if done properly. Sparks 1990. Sorry, I missed that. Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Hello, Bjornico. The next, so we have a second game with 25 minutes plus 10-second increment. If they're still even after that, the next time control is 10 minutes per player with 10-second increment. Still a fairly long game, up to 30 minutes, I think. Then they have Blitz after. So 2 games, 2 games, 2 games. Armageddon is the 7th game, and nobody's made it that far. Somebody's always scored and held the lead before then. But yeah, this next game is still the 25-minute time control, which should last about an hour, just like this first game. Hello, Eric. In the spirit of the game, I wanted to ask you and Yasser, how can a chess player improve his technique? That's a good question. I'll ask Yasser that. My answer is I was really bad at it, and I just picked a world champion. I think almost all the top players, they're all, one thing they have in common is they're all really good at the technical part. I looked at Anatoly Karpov's games, a lot of them, I mean hundreds, and sometimes I'd fast forward to the end game and just figure out why he made every single move. There's some sort of, yeah, I spent a lot of time, I looked at Karpov's games for his conversion. Oh, annotated games are even better if you want to.
I think Peter came to the game with a very specific mindset. If you look at some key moments in that game, one key moment especially comes to mind is when Maxime played the move Bishop C2. If you want to,
Yep,
yeah,
yes.
I think it was there. I think a lot of people's approach might be to play Rook E8.
Instead of Knight C5.
Correct. Rook E8, Queen D3, Knight F8, and more or less seizing the defensive, if you will, right? Queen D3?
Yeah, no, I mean...
Go ahead, put that move on the board. Queen D3, Knight F8, and you basically, yeah, Knight takes, Knight C6, and away you go. I think a lot of people might have done this as black. Peter instead played very actively with the move Knight C5. Then later in the game, go into the game. Another key moment for me was when Peter played the move Knight G3, Knight D4, Queen D4. Right here, second critical moment, F5. Again, the most active move in the position. So he had a mindset of constantly playing, you know, not conceding to White's agenda, but playing aggressively himself. The move F5 is set up to play this move Knight to E4.
Yeah.
Right? So, uh, you know, are you familiar with a berserker? Berserker. It is from the old
Vikings?
Vikings, yeah,
No, yeah,
where
I'm
where
aware.
the warriors before they went into battle, like they kind of drugged themselves up and they got themselves into this mind frame of just, kill, 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 right? He wasn't a berserker, but he was trying to get himself in a mindset of playing as aggressively as possible.
Yeah. Well, I think I told you on Netflix. I've been watching. I mean, I watched The Last Kingdom. They have a couple seasons out. There's a lot of berserkers there, and there's a
Yes,
few Viking shows out. That it's a
that are very special. I like the Kingdom. That's an interesting series. But of course, Spartacus is the best. Like, boy, you really want to see blood and guts. Um, you got it here. By the way, exactly in this position, I'd like to pick your brain for a second.
yeah.
Uh, I'm white. I'm sitting there saying, okay, I could play ef6, queen f6, bishop e3, as played in the game. I'm better. But black's position right now, that bishop on e6 is really kind of awkward. And I'm thinking, here's a stupid move, but
Oh,
it's not so stupid. f2, f3 for white. The idea is very simple. You want to play knight h5, knight f4, and oops, did I blunder something? f4. Holy
I'm just
cow.
trying to attack. Yeah, sir.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
you're a
you're
berserker
giving
who
a bunch of logic and stuff, but I'm a berserker, and I don't
played.
care. I don't care. Yeah.
Okay, knight h5. Let's go. Uh, Knight takes f4.
Wait,
Let's go.
wait.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Need to time this properly.
You sure do because you get a big move with that f4. Okay, knight takes f4, which is what I wanted to achieve.
So knight
Uh,
b3 is not a problem.
I don't know. Maybe it is. It sure looks like it could very well be a big problem for me. I was I was so infatuated with what I was doing, I wasn't paying enough attention to the b3 square. Hmm. Okay, that looks like a really good move.
I'm just trying to do some sort of tactics because I mean that's sort
And if
of
I take the pawn,
when.
uh, now
Well,
bishop takes f4, then you have queen there, and I'm gummied up. How about that? Oh boy, I don't have any tricks. Interesting. So f4. Let me just see that move again.
yeah, it does. It
You
feels
caught me
logical,
by
right?
surprise.
It feels like it
Because
feels.
if I get to play knight h5, knight f4, I'm a happy camper.
Yeah. No, there's something about trying to liberate this bishop and also provide that e6 square, and also just
Okay,
you're not
E-
developed, whereas black's one trump is actually that is
Eric.
that is yeah.
Oh,
Sorry. No, no.
no worries. Uh, f3, no, f4, really. Okay, knight h5, bishop f5, e6. So I've got a threat of mate in one, pretty strong threat. I'll take the knight,
Oh, sorry.
no worries. I think you got to go queen g5, and
So you're saying
d5 is hanging.
queen e7's
Ooh,
not a big issue?
queen e7. Boy. uh, I, uh, uh,
Now I have a threat of knight b3.
and bishop c5. I get it. Ooh. Uh,
But
it got
I can
it
say
got seriously
it
sharp,
got
didn't
seriously
it?
sharp, but that's sort of black is perfectly set up
Happy.
for something sharp in the sense that positionally he was always behind. And here there is a trump that when there's a lot of tactics on the board, it sometimes black is a bit more developed in the sense that if this bishop was already in the game or this rook, I think this would
Yeah,
just be over.
of course.
But
Continue the line. Bishop f5, rook f5, knight f4. I don't think knight b3 works now because I can go queen d3 and I'm hitting the rook on f5. Maybe you have, no, you don't have time for rook f8, I don't
Okay,
think.
I'll do this.
Okay, queen d3.
I was gonna take here, but maybe it's not.
Oh, oh, but I got your rook in that case.
Yeah, I take.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
It's getting.
It's true.
It's getting. It's
My
getting very sharp again because take.
take. Everything's this is one of those cases where like everything is hanging, but I don't know. Queen d5. I'm still.
Are you taking everything? Okay, okay.
Hey, you know
I don't
me.
like that. I don't like that. I'll give it a check.
Okay, now I put my king on a light square. I'm not sure which is my best light square. Let me choose f1 for just so we can have a look-see.
Oh, you can take
Eric,
everything.
this feels
No.
wrong for
F1
you.
protect. F1 protects.
Everything, yeah.
Something feels very loose here. So queen e7, bishop takes f5. Wait.
Right.
We didn't look at, so also yeah, queen g5 I guess needed to be looked at.
I was going to go e7, and I'm hoping that by hitting your rook, um, I got, but I'm also threatening queen takes d5, so maybe bishop c2. Well, I take a rook with check. I mean, I'm a rook ahead at this moment. No, no, I'm not a rook ahead. Why am I? Because you took a bishop on c2. Okay, yeah. Wow. I'm still reflecting on the body count. I think you're doing okay. What's your best guess? Unless I have something really nifty and
I
cruel,
mean,
but I
for an exchange sacrifice, this is quite fun for black. All his pieces are doing something. So yeah, I mean it's
well,
but there
wait a
might
minute.
be I'm trying to calculate.
Yeah, me too. I'm looking at rook
Rook
e5.
e5 is the problem because my queen, that's the tempo that
I
you
need.
can throw in at any moment. So this is not
This
good.
is probably good for white,
Yeah,
right?
well, you're gonna develop with tempo. You can even take pawns and get in queen takes
Yeah.
d5 check, and the rook doesn't fall. But just in the original position, f4 knight,
F3.
knight
Yeah.
here.
I didn't see this move f4 because I was just dreaming that I was going to put my knight on f4. I didn't realize that you
Should
had.
I be looking for moves like bishop takes here, for example? I don't know if that.
Mm, mm, e6, e6, or knight takes f4. I like knight takes f4 as well, by the way.
Yeah, knight takes f4. I was hoping to get in something like here,
But this is what I wanted
yes,
when you
this is
played
what
the
you
move.
want. This is
Yeah,
what you want.
right.
Um,
That was my thinking. I'm not saying that f3 is the greatest of moves. I was just trying to pick your brain for a potential moment there because that pawn on e5, it's very common in open Spanishes where you see that structure where black has played f5 and white plays around his e5 pawn. Was
yeah, no, I mean, what he did was very
what he
safe
did
and
was very
practical.
right, right. It sure was. I mean, there's no question. It was a yeah, safe and practical. I think that's a very good way of describing it. I just had this idea that, you
Yeah,
know,
I mean,
if I could very smoothly get my knight to f4, I'd be gold. Yeah, queen d3, because you played the move f5, f4,
Yeah.
so you opened up that h7 diagonal. But this move e6 is maybe a
E6,
problem now
E6
for
is
black.
hurting. So that last line we looked at was queen e7, and now what did you do?
No, I think
You
you went
took.
queen g.
No,
Right,
took,
I did.
took.
I took. Yeah. And here I was thinking that you were going to play rook a8 to f8, but I got knight g6 ideas, and so I stopped looking.
No, if knight b3 doesn't work, then this
Good
wasn't.
for you. Good for black, I mean.
Yeah, no, maybe you could have slow played it.
Yeah. Well, again, just a couple of reflections, the most important of which is the mindset of Peter Spidler. For sure, he came into these rapid chess games saying, okay, I'm a little bit of an underdog. I'm playing this guy, MVL. I don't want to play too cautious. I want to play as aggressive as I possibly can, and that's what we saw. Rook c8. Okay, so your idea is that when I go knight h5, you want to go knight b3, and you got this massive threat of bishop c5.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That looks like a very good idea. King, I don't know where I should move my king. King h2. Just getting out of that tactical threat of knight b3 and bishop c5. Feels weird, my king on h2, darn it.
It feels weird, but now I don't have f4 because you can take it because.
Yes. Yes, I can take it, and queen h4, I've protected my knight cleverly with my king, and so, yeah, we can just show that, Eric. f4, bishop takes f4, queen h4. A moment ago, I couldn't play it like this as white because my knight on g3 was hanging, but the inclusion of rook c8 and king h2 makes this specific variation possible. So f3.
Yeah.
I think I came to the position you had on the board something like knight d7. Okay, you're threatening
I'm just
me. Yes.
I think
please.
the game is about to start, but yeah, it started. Okay. Yeah, no, this could have been quite a complex game. If he went for f3, it would have been much
Very
more
interesting.
yeah. So the game actually started between the second game,
Okay.
Fiddler MVL. C4,
And
C5.
the players have been repeating the same variation from, was it game one, where Peter got a very nice advantage, but squandered it horribly later on.
So knight f4 check. Sorry, yeah, this is a repeat as Yasser mentioned. King f1, knight e6, h4.
H4. I think I was telling Aman that in the position where white played h4, I had introduced
You were telling me, actually, yes.
b4. Oh yeah, b4. And I still think that's the best move, by the way. But okay, h4 is a totally different approach. White's idea is pretty simple. He wants to stop black from playing g6.
Yeah.
Okay, we've got a different game, or is it a different game? Because in the first game, somehow Peter played the move knight b5. I just don't know in what move order he played knight b5. Could it? No, I don't think it would be here, right?
The bishop was on e6, I think, Yasser.
Yes. That was the difference. Okay, right. Okay, so we have the position after e6. At first sight, I'm kind of happy with white here. I've compromised my king, but I feel I have an edge in development that I somehow want to want to exploit. I don't know how.
So I'll take Black's
Sure,
perspective. He's
absolutely.
playing a bit more solid with the bishop on
Okay,
c8, but I'm gonna play knight c6 and b6 and maybe bishop e7 and just castle and
fair
ask
enough.
you how are you gonna break through if I yeah.
Exactly, exactly. So let me play directly here for a second. Knight b5, knight c6, bishop f4. I want to check you. Take, take. Fair enough. I think that's important. I don't like your position after bishop d6, but I think bishop d7 is the right move.
Oh,
Okay.
you, bishop d6. I,
Yeah.
I'm
No.
not giving you. I'm not giving.
Upon Peshki to maul over. Yes. Okay, but bishop d7 looked like a really good move in that line. Um, eh, I went bishop f4. You went knight takes b5.
Yeah, the
I'm,
difference
I,
is
I'm trying to borrow a page from Peter from game one.
yes.
Yeah. Okay. And
This is a better version for black though.
then the
Than
game
because
one.
the bishop's is on
No
d7.
question.
He's a lot more solid
Is it
and yeah.
definitely
I
happy.
just want to castle and say, look, the d3 pawn is a weakness. I have made no bad moves.
Right.
Come at
There's nothing.
come at me.
Yeah, there's nothing to complain about. In those particular, no, I didn't. I forced you to take on b5. If I start with bishop e3, knight c6, I don't think I can force you to take, and I don't want to straighten out the pawn. Um, what do you think of knight d4, cd4, knight e2? I don't see any reason why black is unhappy here.
That's my logic. That yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
I don't.
it's
I might even just do this first.
uh-huh.
I don't. I won't even give you a chance to
Any
pin me or something.
yeah.
I think the bishop belongs here and actually castling. By the way, yeah. So there's a big boxing fight last night. I stayed up late, uh,
Really?
but
I stayed up late for a different reason. I was watching Tennessee versus Florida, and it was a Hail Mary pass with 9 seconds to go. I am not kidding. The guy threw it 66 yards, perfect strike. You know, Hail Mary, grace of God, bam.
bam. Ooh.
Florida won with time expiring. Sorry, the boxing match. Who was
No,
fighting?
that sounds very good. My two favorite fighters. Mexico's most famous fighter, Canelo Alvarez. He is
Against GGG?
yes against Triple G, sort of the people's champ, and
Yeah,
it was a good fight. Judging is always very sketchy in boxing. That's the one thing. I
yeah.
it was a draw. The way it was a draw
A
was very
draw.
strange. Clearly, they wanted to do a rematch. That's in the best interest of the fighters and the
Right,
promoters. But
right.
the scorecards were all over the place. That one judge gave it 10-2 to one fighter. That the other judge gave it like 8-4 to GGG. The and
That's
it's
crazy.
yeah, it's a bit too much. The way like it was a close fight. It was a good fight, but the scorecards. Uh, yeah, it was a weird way. It was that. That's the one thing. I don't know how that happened, but I had one guy winning, GG winning slightly. I was cheering for Canelo, but it was a good fight. The fighters came, they were hitting each other all the time. It
Yeah.
was, I mean, they were
Well,
standing toe to toe, and they're probably the two most popular fighters in the world right now, outside of Mayweather and Pacquiao, who are both, well, one's retired and one is, but
legends.
they were just standing, and
Yeah.
it was a good fight though. They're gonna have rematches for sure. That's the money fight in boxing right now.
Right. Was Triple G, was he like undefeated?
He is undefeated. So now he's 37 0-1 because of the draw.
Right.
He was very humble in the interview because losing 10 rounds to 2 was a bit bizarre. But one thing is both guys punched themselves each other so much, but they had good chins that I don't doubt that they both thought they won because
Right.
they threw good punches and neither guy
Hmm.
got really hurt. So in that sense,
Okay.
but the judging was That in boxing, that's the one issue. But it was a good fight. It was a good
Right.
fight. Like it was it was it was the most anticipated fight of the year for actual boxing. You got the
Right.
two most hyped guys playing.
Well, of course, Merriweather and McGregor, that recent fight, uh, that was really hyped up. I mean, for boxing fans, I mean, I don't know. I just saw tons and tons of articles on that fight. Now, back to our fight. Um, Peter did play the move Bishop F4, by the way, and I think that was a very cagey move. I like that move A6 by Maxine. He basically said, hey man, I'm going to stop you from playing knight b5. Your knight on c3's got no squares. I'm going to go knight c6. So Peter captured on d4, did he?
Yep.
C takes d4, knight e2, and knight c6. And, well, if White's knight was on f3, I would still say Black's doing quite okay. With the knight on e2, I might prefer Black's position here.
Just
Because,
structurally, right?
yeah, just, well, and the king on f1. I mean, and the pawn on h4.
You know, Peter needs something concrete right now, yeah, sir, to justify this.
And he was afraid of knight a5.
And that's right, because a3 wasn't the move I was thinking, but the one
Yeah.
way I could see White having not justify the play, but I don't know, creating some dynamic chances is to play e5 knight g3 knight e4, because I just don't
Right.
see where this knight is going. I don't
Right,
see.
otherwise,
You're gonna
yeah.
simply be worse if you try to put your king here, play f3,
Right.
and artificially castle.
Right.
Black hasn't made any bad moves. He hasn't made any committal moves. MVL seems to have good preparation here and fully. I mean, I don't see why he's any worse, and if anything, the pressure's on White to come up with something again. Because he's taking these liberties. Like you play h4. What happens when your opponent just castles anyways?
Right. Yeah. I mean, not h5, h6 is first of all, it's too tempy, and I'm not 100% sure it accomplishes anything. Once Black plays g6 or g5, things could really shift. Okay, so a2, a3, preserving the bishop. White wants to meet knight a5 with bishop a2, so knight a5 is cut out, ruled out. So let's just get on with the development side of the equation. Bishop e7. Oh, he played bishop d6 already.
Yeah, he just did it.
Maybe he heard you, Eric, and said, okay, White's only chance is e4, e5. I'm going to cut it out. Okay. I'm not a big fan of White's position. Let me start with that. But okay, these are the cards that were dealt me. I'll take on d6 and play f4.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, so you're asking for it again. I mean,
well, I am a provocateur, but you seduced me with the idea of e4, e5, knight g3 to e4.
oh, you like that idea?
I didn't see a better one. Otherwise, my knight on e2 it's too septic. It's passive on that circuit. Now, I do want to meet e5 with f5. And then my bishop on c4 is actually pretty decent.
Yes. Yes, it is. And by closing down the position, your king will be safer.
Yes.
Yeah, no, so this is critical. I think I'm attracted towards just castling.
Okay. And now I'm going to go for the big clamp. You're going to love it. This is right
I
out
don't
of
want
the
the
Canadian.
I don't want the clamp. No.
Yes, the big clamp. G4. The big clamp. On a good day, king G2, queen D2, rook F1. Hey man,
You saved these moves for me or something. I don't know what's going on, but I mean,
this is the Canadian school of chess. I learned from Lawrence Day. Dude, you go for the big clamp, the 4-pawn attack. The reason I played g4, by the way, is I had a very specific idea in mind. I didn't want black to play f5, and I did want to go king g2, and basically my king's stupid, right? To put it on the g2 square, and I didn't want to put my pawn on g3 because I had a goal of playing knight g3 to e4.
I'm
You're shocked.
no. I'm looking from White's perspective, and if I can't punish this, I told you. I mean, I like space too. If I can play
Yeah.
g4, NVL will play g4. He's actually the type of player to actually do this. This wouldn't surprise me. But yeah,
Peter
no, I mean,
Spindler, I'm saying.
oh yeah,
Peter
Switter's
Spindler's white.
white. I forgot. No, see, that's
Yeah.
a bit different. But when you start looking at g4, you can rationalize it. I'm not sure you have to establish it as a candidate move. I have no way of punishing this. This looks good. I would do this too.
Wow. Okay. Well, gee, if it has Eric Hansen's seal of approval, I may have doubts now. You're sowing the seeds of doubt.
But okay, so
By the way, Queen D2 is a little bit more restrained, and he's saying, "Okay, I'll keep the flexibility of G3 alive," but I like F4.
I mean, if you're gonna play f4 and you don't need to play queen d2, why not?
Why not?
Why not accelerate it? Maybe your queen has greener pastures somewhere else.
Right.
Although queen d2 is so natural and it can't be
Yeah.
criticized, he's done f4. So to me, you can just go f4 in one go. And the reason why maybe I want my queen on d1 is in some of those positions you looked at. Maybe the queen goes to g4. Maybe I start drumming up
Exactly.
a kingside initiative. So
Mhm.
I think he sort of agreed with you, Yasser, but it took him a bit longer.
Okay.
Because bishop here, this is the move. And
Yeah.
actually g4, I would do in a lot of cases. Even here, I would consider g4.
Right. It just feels like White's king needs to go to G2 to begin with, and when you do play the move G3, the knight on E2 might complain.
Wow. So he played no, Yasser. This
Black
this
has
is
to be very quick here, because if Black just allows White a free hand with G4 knight G3, that's good space. That's nice green pasture over there to grab a lot of
this
space on.
this is arable and
Arable, yeah.
and no, but like this, I think this really demonstrates that for some reason, we're saying Black did nothing wrong, but if I can't refute, some guy in his kitchen, is playing f4. Some random guy across the world playing f4 and g4 in a kitchen with a big smile, and I can't come up with a single response. Like, then this position is a lot more difficult than I thought. Seriously, no, I have no move here. I actually like White's position a lot. How do I get this bishop out?
Right. That's a question. When you go b5 and bishop b7, you're kind of stuck behind the e4 pawn, and unless you make f5 work, the bishop on b7 will be a spectator.
So let's say here, something like this. I still can't play f5. I have to do.
Yeah.
Let's just say something like this, and
I was going to go knight g3,
Yes.
I think. Yeah.
okay, this actually looks like a possible continuation, and then I might
Right.
actually have to. Then I realize now that, okay, I actually have some counterplay, like this.
Yeah, it is an exchange, though. It would have been.
But you know what I mean,
Yeah,
because
fascinating.
that makes sense to play for Black. Otherwise, you're a sitting duck.
Yeah, right. And I think for a lot of players, especially those who have a lot of experience, and you understand the King's Indian attacks, you get these, how do you say, these nice pawn storms for Black. Uh-oh,
No,
did we lose you?
I was
Yeah, okay.
refreshing. I was
Rebooting.
hoping to get
Right.
the clocks, but
Right.
you got a compliment.
I got a compliment.
Yasser looks younger than Eric.
Take that. Plus, I can do more push-ups than Eric.
No, you can't.
Yes, I can. Dude, you keep ducking me every time, like we're in St. Louis together, and the big
I,
push-up
I,
challenge.
I told you
You,
I
you,
don't feel comfortable watching you do push-ups without an ambulance on standby.
defibrillator. I don't feel
I just
comfortable. Well, that's a brilliant excuse, Eric. I'll give you high marks for that. By the way, G6 was played, and both players are being very consequential, forcing the action. I didn't know. Did you like the move knight G3, by the way?
yes, I like what you did because it's more direct and we get a better version.
Right.
Here our pawn structure, our
No.
beautiful land, our Canadian
Yes.
prairies, they really get questioned by H5, and
Exactly.
that's this queen is not supporting that. I wanted that extra move back. I wanted a take back,
Right.
and this wouldn't have
With the
happened.
with the pawn on G4, right? You wanted to take back with the pawn on G4.
It's important, Yasser. Okay, now is
The queen H6. The reason I asked about knight G3 is because I thought that also Peter had the option of queen H6, but then queen F8, getting out of the pin, making G5, G6 takes F5 possible, I think is the problem. You pointed out G4 H5 is a problem for white. I was thinking queen H6, but queen F8 was a good answer.
well, I mean, Peter's fiddler. When see how he beats MVL in rapid, I think these open really sharp positions, Peter's
Hmm.
fine in, but I much prefer sort of strategically playing against Maxime, not having as much of a I don't know a sharp game or something like.
Hmm.
I mean, a bit more controlled because this sort of
Yes.
position, even if it's good for white, again, I think it's going to be harder to play for white than for black. That's why in those lines I'm like, black just castles and chills.
Yeah.
You actually try to punish me with the G4 in that line, but like,
Right.
I feel like the pressure to find all these high powered moves is in white's court, and it's not that white has a super good position. Like, who's really going to take this in a rapid game,
No,
even if it
no,
was
no, no,
good?
no, no.
You
Yeah.
you have to decide to even calculate that, which is already a big decision because you have to
Right.
manage your time. Peter's down already 5 minutes on the clock, and I just feel like these are positions where if they go
16.
toe to toe,
Yeah.
he's gonna be at a disadvantage. Not a serious one. He can calculate well and play sharp
Oh.
positions, but it's not necessarily where I could see him punishing Maxime like in their first classical game. He had a good
Hmm.
endgame. He butchered it, but he had a
Oh.
comfortable endgame with no counterplay for Maxime.
Right. Right.
Didn't have to have a big advantage, but not that open position, wild stuff. That Maxime plays the Najdorf and the Grunfeld for the. You have to be a bit sick. I mean, really good at just loving complications and calculate. It's a bit. It's the most provocative repertoire you could possibly have, and it's catered to his strengths. I just so this sort of position,
H5. Wow.
I like it. I
I
like it. No,
mean,
it's really good for us. I liked
everybody
it.
everybody keeps ramping. Every move, it's like they're bluffing. They're
Yeah.
like they're calling and raising and calling and
So
H5. I was
now I'm gonna play Queen F6.
Well, first of all, if we just go back for a second, before the move H5, if White's king was on G1 and the rook on H1 was on F1, I'd be liking White's position. So I was thinking that White's only move was king G1 and rook on A1 to F1, right? Because the king is terrible on F1, and obviously everything's happening on the F file and the F5 square, and but H5, what the heck is that? Holy cow! Uh, I I'm I'm very, very, very doubtful about this move. Um, Okay.
I got a very good comment when I said
Yes.
I couldn't refute your G4 and H4. Do you remember that?
Yes. Yes.
And
Yes.
somebody said, with all due respect, Eric, that's why you are not in the tournament.
Oh, ka-ching! I mean, rough crowd today. Rough crowd, Eric. Rough crowd.
Maybe
And it's a Sunday where
it's
we
Sunday. It's
we
supposed to.
we we, we all hold hands and sing "Kumbaya" with one
No, it's
another too.
no, it's yeah. I mean, they're not giving you credit. It's not about. It's that why isn't Yasser in the tournament? It's not that That's like saying, oh Yasser. No, it's tough. I was gonna. Yeah, no, I'm not fully
I was
satisfied with White's position yet. I do you think he's under the presumption that he's still better because of some preparation, and then he's trying to justify that?
Could very well be. Could very well be. Maybe he's just also thinking that, hey, my rook on h1 is stupid. If I could play h takes g6 and provoke f7 takes g6, then my rook's not so stupid on h1.
I'm not sure I
So,
want to trade rooks with my king on f1.
okay,
So I'm gonna play queen f6.
I'm gonna play king f1 to g1 like a shot, and whoa, uh, okay. My rook is on a1. What a pathetic thing. I guess queen d2. I could have played queen c. What? Eric, naughty boy. Are you sure? Are you sure?
I mean I can prepare
That's
it. Okay,
very
no, I can prepare
no,
it.
because I'm just saying if you
You,
take, you're giving up the e4
no,
square. I would recapture with the pawn, and
no.
maybe I'll go knight
I mean,
e4.
my point is I do want to. Well, I am naughty. So,
Naughty boy.
but I want to open up position while your king is
That's stupid. Yeah, I get it. Okay, go
he
ahead.
did
Go.
king c7. No, it's just okay. You did king here. Okay, my whole idea is to somehow like open it up
Okay.
because otherwise you can park here and
Mm.
you're going to if I don't do something now,
Right.
yeah, you're getting rook f1. So what would you like? It, it's sort of playing against that plan. So, uh,
Mm.
um,
I didn't like the queen f6 idea that you came up with because I was thinking in this position, if I play rook
you
f1,
also have Nettie.
oh, I also have no knight e4 is just very, very good suddenly. I'm too fast. I got you wrong-footed. But I thought Maxim was going to play queen b6 actually here
Right.
after h5, and he attacks the pawn on b2. Yeah, he forces a move like that, and then something like f bishop b5, let's say. That's where I thought black was headed.
Which move?
Bishop b5. Yeah, king b8. Get out of dodge. But this hg6 is still
Looming. I
looming. No,
mean,
this actually is good for white. It looks like I I like. I suddenly like white's position. So let's see what he
I
did in
I,
the game,
I
Eric.
agree. He tried. He's having an issue dealing with this queen on h6. That
It's annoying, isn't
he
it?
actually put king c7.
Right. I think that might have
But
been
yeah, so
very good.
isn't there a problem with that? What is
Yes.
black threatening? He wants to
I
take here and
assume
be
he's
naughty
going to
and give
take
the
on.
e4 square. So let's say rook c1 first,
Yeah, no, rook c1, obviously.
bishop
Uh,
c6. So
yes.
he wants to do this thing.
He wants to be naughty, yeah.
Although this is a better
No.
version because he's controlling a few squares.
Okay, but here's maybe a very key question. After the move h5 takes g6, are you going to give up the queen for the two
I
rooks?
am.
That's
I am.
really, you wouldn't play queen
I
g7.
have something unpleasant to show you.
Okay, show, please, share. Yes, 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 yes.
And
I mean to take on f5, yes.
okay.
And and queen f4 check is That's a winner. That's very, very good for black, Eric.
So only because of the tactics, I feel like yeah, I can quickly take advantage of that king.
Uh-huh. Good point. Very, very good point indeed. So we are here.
I still feel black's okay, but now they're yeah. Well, it's a sharp game. I mean, we're
Truly,
getting
truly
something
sharp.
good.
We're getting good value for the game. How about King G1 here and just letting black uh, do whatever he's intending? King G1, you'll take on F5. I'll take on, no, oh, I was going to take on D6. King takes, pawn takes, but knight takes F5, knight E4 check, king E7, and the king is perfectly good on E7.
Yeah, sir. You've
Hey,
been
a man
no
after my
no,
own
this is
heart.
bad. You've been influencing people so much that they're playing moves like Bishop F7. It's
Hey,
fashionable to be
man.
a pawn grabber.
Yes, it's been fashionable for 500 years. It just fluctuates. I love it. I love it. Peter, Peter, give me your pawn. Fiddler. Oh my. Uh, give us a line.
I'll
Eric,
take.
rook c1 check.
What kind of line do you want?
No, yeah, want you to play, boy. Okay.
Because I have a
Trade.
line for you.
Okay, I'll take on d6. Ooh, I see the line that you have in mind. I wanted to take with the pawn, and after rook f8, I wanted to play bishop e6, but
Yeah, I can go here.
rook takes e6 is ooh. What? I've been begging for the king to be on g1 for some time to defend my honor. I always wanted my king on g1. So this is what has happened. He did not allow black to recapture on d6 with the rook, but captured it once on f5.
This is just black is happy, yes sir. What am I missing? Peter's Fiddler cashing in on a pawn and essentially wasting all of these moves with the H pawn, and also trading queens when black's king is well placed in the center. What am I missing? This simply seems bad. Again, I mean, he needed like bishop f7 was a very surprising move to me. As I said,
Mm-hmm.
in rapid chess, maybe there's a concrete line to do it, but you don't have
Right.
time to calculate. This is black has a better structure, better development, and
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, the rooks are out of play, but you talk about gaining space or gaining the initiative with the H pawn. The variation he went for renders that useless. That's just wasted time. Whereas black has
Absolutely.
not wasted any moves. The way white has dealt with this is I'm happy with my king here. I'm happy with
Yeah.
my conservative pawns. My rook's going to
Yeah.
f8. This looks terrible though. Like what's going on here? This
Yeah.
is. I mean, this looks like chess 960 or something happened.
Well, fortunately, the one thing that white has in his favor,
Like Peter's a player who puts his pieces on good squares. He has
right?
an aesthetic feel for the game. Here
Yeah.
he looks out of his element.
Totally. The one good thing that Peter has going for him is that he's controlling the g8 square, so knight e3 check and rook g8 is not splat.
Uh,
But this looks great for black.
this looks almost lost to me,
Yeah,
strategically speaking.
yeah.
I mean, this was
I'm
so
not
so
disagreeing.
perplexing,
No,
Yasser, to go for the pawn at the worst moment.
for sure. Well, I didn't like the move h5. I mean, you could have gone rook king g1 and almost got the identical position with your king on g1 and your pawn on h4, which would have been a lot more useful. This looks
I
frankly, just really bad for maybe you said it best when you said strategically lost. This just looks really good for black.
everything favors black.
Yeah. Well, again, the one
But
mm, good news about White's position is that again, you can't just go rook g8 knight e3 and splat.
well, not yet, but I'm getting close to it. Might have to. What I can do is put a knight on e3 when I want and take the f file, and
Yes.
this king on g1 will never be safe.
I
I'm gonna be
know.
no, but Peter is not a good defender in unpleasant positions, and when Peter gets into an ugly looking position, I'm not talking about the objective, an ugly
No.
looking position, because he's an aesthetic player. He really can produce some very nice games. Everything coordinates. He gets very frustrated, and I would say he's not a good defender, relatively speaking, for a top grandmaster. I mean, he's
Exactly.
known for resigning. What some people
The- the-
consider
the- the- the-
prematurely.
the- the-
He's known for getting
yeah.
frustrated with himself and losing a lot quicker than some other
The
people.
one, the one great, and I mean really outstanding game that I remember Peter defending brilliantly well was his last round victory over Magnus Carlsen in London,
Yes.
the candidates tournament. I mean, there, Magnus put him under great pressure, and he found some brilliant moves. But otherwise, I think that that's a very clear knock, and unfortunately for Peter, it's the right one that he's not the greatest of the defenders. You know, when I think about the tenacity, for example, of Magnus or Hikaru for that matter, they defend bad positions really well. That's not Peter's forte. A lot of players also don't defend that great. Knight e3 check. I didn't like that move. I
You
thought
can hold
that
it. You can hold it in your cards.
yeah, yeah, exactly. I thought bishop c6 at once, with the idea of bishop e4, knight g3 check. Obviously,
But
was more precise.
I
I
guess
still like I still like black's position, but I think MVL could have kept that knight on e3 check in abeyance for a moment.
well, he's still got
Okay.
a 6 minute time advantage. He's got these natural looking moves, rook to the f
Mhm.
file. At some
Right.
point, I might even play h6 and fix this pawn.
Right.
This is still horrible.
Of
Because
course it is.
because but I
Well,
agree.
there's a
There's
knight on e3 for Christ's
I
sake.
mean
Look at that knight. Damn, that's a
I
that's a big pony.
I'm gonna make the
Okay,
first move I'm gonna
I
make is rook ac1 with the idea of rook c5.
that's a very decent start. Yeah, I was on a different planet there for a moment. Rook ac1. Okay, so man, if I take on e4 and rook c8,
Yeah, so you're a pawn grabber. I'm offering food for you.
okay, I'll take it. Sorry. Rook c5, right?
Yeah.
That was yes, that was your big idea. So knight f4 check, king d2, I suppose, yeah. And bishop d5, maybe holding on to my ill-gotten gains.
Okay. Well, at least white is kicking here.
No
In
question.
this variation, I'm starting
I
to
like. I
feel
li-
yeah.
Well, I mean, you're a pawn down, but you got a knight on e4, and your king's not getting sacked. Let's put it that way. So you did something good there, Eric, but you took me away from my goal. I wasn't really after that pawn. I was going to play bishop takes c6.
It's on the board, by the way.
Oh,
In case you want.
yeah. I was going to play bishop takes e4, d takes e4, pardon me, and something like, let's say king d6. I just control some business squares, c5, c6, c7.
The business squares.
The
You're
business.
always trying to catch me with the business squares.
Exactly. I'm gonna give you the business here. If I can go knight g2 f4 without allowing rook c5, I'm scoring a touchdown. Okay. Obviously, on a good day, black just wants to play rook f8, rook f4, rook f8, and somehow checkmate on the f2 square.
Well, I see one idea here, Yasser. Is
Please.
if, I mean, one sorry factor is I would actually sacrifice it. I would love to win this knight. I'd give up in exchange for it. As more pieces get traded off, the possibility of giving up the
Oh,
exchange and doing
oh,
something like bishop d5 and g4
and holding
and holding
is
is
sensible. Yeah.
sensible. So that's not easy to achieve, but I can be a
The
bit more
problem
liberal.
is,
Yeah.
yeah, your desirable rook h3 to do exactly what you're saying, unfortunately gets met by knight g2, right?
Yeah, with
And I'm just a little, I'm ahead in the tempo there. So how would you go about sacrificing the exchange? Well, I
Okay,
think,
I have a question for you.
yes,
Do I
please.
inject h6 as white now because of this
H7 pawn, yeah.
h7 pawn and you've given up the light squared bishop?
I'm ignoring, I don't know. I thought you might play
Because
g4, g5, g6 and just, you know,
but black should just play h6 at any moment and I don't really like the weaknesses here. I mean, just imagine h6.
yeah.
This pawn's gonna be even in a pure king endgame or not, like my pawns are just the train stops.
Well, let's be consequent, Eric. G4.
Okay, he did
Oops.
rook here, but
Ah, I wanted to play takes, and king d6.
so
Yeah.
you wanted this line.
No, I wanted king d6.
Oh yeah, king d6. Sorry.
Oops.
Uh-huh.
And here I thought I was going to go g4.
Okay.
G5, let's go. H6, let's go. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, hmm. I don't.
I'm
You
just
didn't give me
gonna.
the chance to go H7 and rook and bishop G8. Uh,
Are you just giving me all your pawns, Yasser?
I think I am, unfortunately. Isn't it gross?
I mean,
Rook H5.
well, I was
No,
looking at this line. I can even come up with this.
no, this is very good for black. Clearly,
And
clearly,
somehow
it's
it's like it's a bishop,
there's
and it's an open position, but all the entry
Mhm.
squares are covered.
Exactly.
Well, he went for
No,
rook f8, and MVL would love to give up an
Peter Spidler
exchange.
played.
Sorry, Peter
Yeah,
would love to give up an exchange.
Peter's playing for rook G3 to G7 check. Um, didn't we have a problem with this for a different reason, though, Eric? After rook f8, weren't we playing rook c5? Why did white play rook c1 if not to threaten the move rook c5? I thought this is why white played rook c1.
Yeah, yeah, that was my idea. That was
What am I missing?
you,
Maybe knight g4? No,
no,
that's
no.
a ridiculous move. The knight's great on e3, rook h4, and no, I'm sorry. So why didn't he play rook c5? I'm I feel like this is some kind of a quiz, and I don't have a ready answer. Help me, Eric.
Oh, I played rook AC. Oh yes, help me, Eric. It sounds like Star Wars. Help me, Eric. You're my only hope.
You're my only. Feel the force, Eric.
I have to say I could definitely see you in a Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
You're like a Jedi in chess.
I don't know.
That's a
I
compliment. I
don't
mean
know.
that in a good way. I mean that in
Oh
a
no,
good
it's
way.
a compliment. No, it's a great compliment. No, no,
You,
no.
I could see with the
I
cloak,
could have.
Obi-Wan, Saruman.
Yeah. Well, give me my lightsaber, and I can do horrific things. Um, okay. I like grabbing pawns as much as the next guy, but I'm still kind of confused by The rook c1 and rook h3. What's that? I thought rook c1, rook c5. Okay, I'm not using an engine. I'm drawing a blank. I didn't know what black was
Well,
supposed to do.
you love trades as white.
Oh,
And bishop e4 doesn't.
well, if you play bishop d5, you're making an argument the knight on e3 is great, and it is. But the knight on e4 is not bad.
No, it's a fantastic knight. No, no, no. I prefer
the-
white. I probably.
Yeah,
Oh, oh.
no, they're two great stallions in the middle of the board there. The knight on e3, the knight on e4.
But the knight on e4 is a blockading knight, which means white will have a majority on another side, even though they're both outposts.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Whereas rook h3, okay, we'll have to come back to that maybe afterwards. Knight g2, big threat. Knight f4 check, forking king and rook. Rook g3, I'm assuming. What? Did he really play that move, or is that your
No,
move?
no, yeah, sir. I'm not touching anything. I'm trying to figure out why he didn't play rook c5, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. I can't predict these moves, and I don't know. Like Peter, he's in a lost position or no close to. He has to play the best moves, and why he didn't
Right.
play rook c5 beats me. Like that
Whoa.
sense of urgency. Right? There needs to be
You
a
know-
sense of urgency. What the heck is this?
Of course, what the heck is this? The funny part was that we were trying to sacrifice an exchange for white, but we were trying to sacrifice the exchange for the knight on e3, not for the bishop on c6. I think you got the wrong minor. uh, what's going on?
So
you
king
tell
d2.
me. Yeah.
Okay, but you're also down a pawn here, so black could even give up an exchange now. Okay, the one move you don't want to play is knight takes h5, because then rook, I assume Peter will find rook g5 and get some counterplay. No, but this is
By
so
the way, that's
king,
not.
king e1. Okay. I mean, I guess king.
Peter's lost his marbles.
No, but
really
but like this is. No, but this. I mean, rook c5 here.
I'm kicking.
Are we missing something?
Yeah, we must be. Maybe rook f5 is what Peter didn't like. I don't know.
Rook f5 starts inviting.
G4, knight G4, rook G1. Yeah, it does.
Yeah,
It does raise
maybe
questions.
here I can go g4 next move. Oh, sorry, I can't do that properly. But was it this maybe, Yasser? G4.
Yeah,
Takes.
something. I mean, I don't know, but I'm looking at the game
It must have
position.
been this. But
Yeah.
you're looking at the game.
I'm looking at the game position. I am saying resign. This is just terrible.
Yeah, no, he's lost here.
He's an exchange down. Does he have some swindling drawing chances?
He has nothing.
Absolutely
You can
no.
give back the material, take on d3, and roll those pawns down the board.
Without question. This is just hoopless. Oh my. This was a collapse. And, it's one of those things that where we don't see, it's not visible, but nerves, nerves play such an important factor in this format. And Peter's had great nerves throughout. I didn't expect this kind of collapse to happen, but I don't think Peter would play this badly under in any kind of format. This was just terrible. Rook c6 was complete blindness. He saw something, and he went for it, forgetting that this is not mate. This is the position?
Yep.
Oh my. So you're giving, well, rook b2 is an automatic, right? Oh, that's even stronger.
Game over,
Ugh.
Yasser. Knight here runs into
Resign.
h6.
Resigns.
Knight here runs into rook here. It's already over.
Resign. Yeah. White's losing the house. Well, I mean, congratulations. Well, maybe it's premature.
It's
but,
over. The game's over. Peter
Yeah.
Swither has resigned.
Wow. really, at the moment that he played the move, at move 20, I didn't know what was going on. I thought the game was three results. Like 10 moves later, it was lost. When he played rook c6, that was just terrible. But maybe rook c6 was desperate. So somewhere between move 20 and I'm going to guess move 27, things went really, really south. Go back to that position when he played king c7. King c7. Where did he go wrong here? Things were, yeah, h5. That was really a head scratcher for me, Eric. Take that move h5 back because I didn't get that one at all. King g1. Let's just discuss this position for a moment because this feels like three results.
I'll just summarize that up though, guys. Peter
Yes,
Siller
please.
is now eliminated. He finishes in the top 8, but no spot in the candidates. And MVL still has one more hurdle to go. It's making the finals, so it's going to be the semifinals now. It's only the finalists who advance to the World Championship cycle. But yeah, that's an elimination, and the field is narrowed down to 4.
Right. We're going to have Ding Liren versus Wesley So and Levon Aronian versus MVL. 4 superb candidate choices, players for the candidates. In fact, in a funny kind of way, I would love to see all 4 of those guys in there with Sergey.
Karyakin?
Yeah, because he's already seeded
right.
by virtue of his runner-up status in New York.
So yeah, no, this went. It was just
Well, there's going to be a couple of guys rooting for the players. For sure, Vladimir Kramnik and Fabiano Caruana are rooting for Wesley because if Wesley qualifies to the candidates through the World Cup, then he's not in that pool for the rating, for the 2 rating spots, and Kramnik and Fabi are. If MVL qualify as, there's a couple of guys rooting for MVL, right? Including Shak Mamidarov and Grishuk and the people who are playing in the Grand Prix, the FIDE Grand Prix cycle, want to see MVL qualify.
Yes.
So there are a lot of fans.
This is a result for
Okay, so what did you? I don't know what to make of this position after King G1. I think it's double-edged because White wants to play Rook F1.
Bishop C6.
Of course.
Okay.
Yeah, Rook F1, which is the dream, right? To get the Rook on the open, well, not the open, but the F file. I feel this is a 3 result position, Eric.
I can't disagree with. I mean, White was playing H5 as if there is no danger, and well, your king is on F1, your rooks are not developed.
Right.
It wasn't the usual.
It wasn't Purdy.
It wasn't the usual Peter in this game.
No, and again, I'm chalking that to nerves and that just the incredible intensity of the competition itself. Yeah, no. Now I'm feeling that I got ideas here. Rook F3 to G3.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and again, my bishop controls G8, which is kind of nice, and I want to play Rook H3 to G3, but I couldn't play Rook H3 right away because I was afraid of Bishop D7. But
no,
okay,
this is. I mean, White's very happy with this. No, I mean,
absolutely.
Just the closed nature of the position. This is a good rook, and okay, the king will be safe. The other rook comes in as you showed it too.
Right.
King here.
King to G1, yeah.
And
Key moment. H5 is where the wheels started coming off.
I mean, bishop
For
c6
Peter.
doesn't feel like an incorrect move, but okay, I'll continue.
Um, by the way, if there's ever a time to take on F7, now's the time, not when the king is on F1. So can I play like Peter did in the game and have a somehow an improved version?
You can.
Check, rook c1 check, bishop bishop e6. I could be the one getting in a pin.
Well,
how about queen
can do it.
g7 there?
You can do it.
Oh, I can?
Because you
Good.
have.
Tell me how. Ah, I can
Sorry.
put. Yeah.
That's what I meant to show.
Yes. Queen g7 check. And in fact, Eric, after your move rook f8, I can also play queen g7.
Yes.
I mean,
this is a very annoying tickle.
Yes, exactly. Because somehow the queen is quite safe on g7. I'll recapture with the pawn maybe, and yeah. So king g1, big time move. Then he played h5 and bishop takes f7. So I feel like somehow those were back-to-back poor choices.
Yeah, rook f1 here, and it's a sturdy position still.
Yeah, the bishop on c4 is quite decent.
No, I can't disagree. Yeah, so this seems like a good proposition.
Right. Well, and especially as compared to the game, because in dissecting what we would call the post-mortem, like, why did we lose the patient, doctor? What did he die from? It seems to me that h5, rook c1, bishop takes f7 were, three doubtful choices.
And the timing of it was, he didn't time either of them. Bishop f7, the king's on f1, h5. Well, his rook's not in the game yet. His timing was off this game.
Oh, totally. Could we go back to the position where let's pretend, for ourselves at least, that Peter was doing everything right when he played the move h5 and king c7. Can we just look at that line that went? No, that feels wrong. Can we look at hg6 again for white?
Well, we did rook c1 last time.
Right. Let's just start with hg6, because I was a little bit unclear about the two rook position. The two rooks versus the queen position. Yeah. Last time you hit me with a e4, my rook on c1 was hanging.
Yeah.
Yeah, and here, well, it feels like...
I thought king safety is a big factor, and my king will be
absolutely
safe. And,
here, if my king was on g1, maybe there's something to discuss. My pieces all feel discombobulated. The rook on h8, the knight on g3 are not protected. This just looks good for black. Okay, let me take that move back for a moment, because there was one other move. hg6, queen g7. Sorry. Yeah, queen g7 takes. Nothing.
This is
good. This is good for black. I have no idea what Peter was thinking when he played the move h5. It just feels like the timing's all wrong. And then
okay, now I also have a question. So
yes, please.
So what happened in the game? I agree with that. What happened in the game is king c7, bishop takes here.
Yep.
Why does... Okay, first of all, you should...
Yeah.
So we got this position, and black got an ideal structure. My question is, so you throw in a check.
Yes.
Bishop takes is forced, and
yes.
How's this position?
Well,
So
you showed me
take.
queen takes d6, rook takes d6, and white was having problems because rook f8, as you showed, comes barreling down the f line. The king is sitting on
Yeah,
f1 for crying out loud.
there's no. I mean, I was thinking that one of the benefits is we get the knights off, but
Uh-huh.
it's still a grovel. It's still like, I mean, okay,
Well,
take. Let's just say this.
rook. I can't play bishop e6 because of rook e6, as we saw. Look,
This. I
this just looks terrible. Knight f5, and black is just too fast.
Yeah, black's getting everything.
Everything. So,
Well, yeah,
yeah, h5 was just a wasted move.
yeah.
King g1 was really key. You needed to play rook f1.
You just need to get the rooks in the game. He didn't play rook c1 either, so I mean, what I thought were
No,
natural moves were not played.
no. And then I'm not 100% sure what MVL did is fine. Whenever you win, you don't want to double guess the guy's moves because, but even in the game, I thought that MVL play wasn't maybe
Yeah.
perfect.
Well, because he allowed rook c5.
Yeah. Um, and what would have been the
Oh,
situation after rook c5, rook f5,
this is the line we have to analyze.
g4? Yeah,
Well, g4 had an issue. I will just take it.
you have an issue. Okay, rook g1 was the idea, of
There's
course,
no,
the intent. But ooh, yeah. Ooh, I have to take. You could also throw in rook f2 check too,
yes, rook
but
f2.
okay.
Yeah.
Aha. And rook c, yeah. No. Mm, no, I'm not feeling it here for white. Not at all. If I go bishop d5, king d6, one amongst many moves for black. Black's a pawn up and he has no. Rook c1, rook c5 also feels like somehow a loss of time for white.
Let me just pause here for a moment.
Yes, please. Hmm.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm gonna
Yes.
just make a pass.
Very good. I will take that knight with
Or
glee.
or if Peter wants to take on c6, then go for this way.
Okay, but is any of this stuff any kind of threat for black? I mean that knight on e3
So
is
you said you were gonna
glorious.
take here.
Yeah,
Take,
and I don't know, rook g5.
check.
What am I missing? Rook d7.
Don't, isn't this better than the game?
Well, is black a pawn up?
No.
Did I didn't win a pawn. How come? First of all, yes. Well, anything truly is better than the game. Um, Now my rook is funky. Now I need to play
Okay,
rook
but this
face.
is an
Yeah.
improvement. Like
Yes.
much
For
bigger.
sure. So you think g3 was
Well, I'm just
a
I
good
I
try?
might as well take f4 away and just cover my base because
Oh, sorry. I go rook f8
well
here.
that's what I was expecting and I was trying to calculate it. That's what the line. This is the line I want to look at. The problem with this line is rook
Uh,
takes h5 because this line, things get
Yes.
at least like
Ah,
I get some checks. I got some checks in the back
very doubtful, Eric. That king on d3 is going to get mated.
with rook. I mean, I get checks. I do get checks. I still get mated, but I get checks. No, I mean
Uh,
rook c1 doesn't. Again, I mean rook c1 and rook h2 doesn't make. I still think this is at least more resistance.
yeah, just I, unless there's something very concrete. White invested two moves to bring his rook to c5 to get a position where there's nothing here. This is just great for black. Great for black. I think you're being done.
But no,
You're
but the
being,
position is Black didn't make
yeah,
any like 93 check was the only move he didn't like. Black is strategically winning. I think it's
yes.
been like that for a long time.
Agreed.
But
Agreed. It's just it's the nature of the position where, you know,
but he went down so quickly.
it did.
That's the discussion, because
Right.
we've seen these players mess up. Peter messed up a gorgeous endgame in game one of the
Hmm.
classical. So it's
That's right.
not entirely out of the case to see someone throw this out. So Peter, yeah, I mean he had
He
missed
had his
chances. He had his
chances.
chances in the
Yeah.
match.
No question about it. Well, bravo, Maxine. And we went from a situation, hold on. Didn't we have a situation? I think it was the group of 16 where there were five Russians out of the 16 players, and it's almost seemed like a Russian party. We're now at the semifinal stage, and all the Russians have been eliminated. Peter Svidler was the last Russian in the tournament, and it's been Maxine that's been taking them out.
Yep,
He took out Grishuk and now Peter Svidler.
two of their top
So
guns.
two of the top guns. So chess fans, we will have to for you to. Do they take a break?
They do, yeah. So
Or-
it's our first free day
Oh,
after
Sunday.
we
I get to enjoy
we've gone
uh,
2 weeks in a row. You have done 14 days of full chess
nonstop.
commentary nonstop. Yeah, sir.
Right.
You get a break.
Oh, nice. I get a break. Hey, happiness. And I needed it because, again, I was up to like 4 a.m. my time because of this very, very exciting collegiate football clash between two very powerful football schools, Florida, the Gators of Florida, and the Tennessee. Uh, I think they're the Vols, Tennessee Volunteers. It was just an amazing game, and I was mesmerized. Mesmerized. Well, Eric, well, good. Enjoy a rest day, huh? Much deserved rest day. And tell me about your Isle of Man um,
Yeah, well,
plans.
the current
When do
so
you leave? What do
I
you?
leave Thursday night, so I'm gonna be joining you for the semis, which runs Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Right
Okay.
after Thursday, I literally board a flight, head over to Ireland, before flying to Isle of Man, which starts on Saturday. So it's a boom boom bam, very quick turnover. Amon's getting into tournament mode.
Yes, he needs his final GM norm. You
There,
spoke about that.
so there's that. Isle of Man starts Saturday. MVL by winning this. Uh,
Is out of the Isle
Probably
of
out of
Man, I
Isle of Man
guess.
unless he loses the semis. The finals is Saturday, Tuesday. So I'm
Okay.
expecting, while we won't be covering it, Robin and you.
Oh, excellent. Robin.
Yes.
Wonderful. Well, he'll be on Dutch time. No,
No,
he's in
no,
Montreal.
he's in Kingston. He's in Canada.
Ah, yes,
He
of course.
actually
No, I know he's going to school there.
he
Yeah.
went to his first football game yesterday, and it was also collegiate. It was a Queens University football game, and it looks like he had a good time.
Did in Canadian college football, do they do the same rules as in professional football? Like you guys are different than American football.
I actually I haven't watched CIS football in a long time,
Hmm.
because Canadian football has different rules than American football.
Exactly.
But for whatever reason, I think collegiate football is the same as the U.S.
Wow.
But I could be wrong. I just have that feeling because, but I might be
Uh-huh.
wrong. It might be three downs. I actually,
Okay.
it's sad. I watch American college football. I like Canadian professional football, but
Yes.
maybe it is three downs in Canada. It's just,
Okay.
if
It would
if you're
be.
doing three downs, then it's sort of going to be harder to be drafted in the NFL if you ever want to go that route.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, it's a total different animal, of course. Well, it would be kind of peculiar, wouldn't it, if collegiate football was different than professional
Yeah,
Canadian
I guess
football?
it's a feeder system, so it is. It should be three downs. It should be three
Right.
downs. I have classmates who are in the CFL, it's yeah, a lot of people from the prairies end up there. So it probably is three downs.
Okay, very good. So we will be covering the chessbrah channel. We'll be covering the finals with Robin and myself.
Yeah,
You and
trying to figure
Aman
that
will
out.
be,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, you and Aman will likely uh, be hosting the semis,
Probably me.
which is very nice.
Amon has
Or
to.
get into the tournament mode, as you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Yeah. And what are your aspirations yourself for the Isle of Man? Of course, rating is always a key part of that. It's going to be a very, very strong tournament, but are you taking a chance with your FIDE rating these days? Playing an open tournament where
I think so.
you
Yeah.
got
No, I
you
honestly,
got hungry IMs?
I am taking a chance. I have to say I'm a lot more invested in Amon's results since this is
Hmm.
a big event for him, and we've been supporting his tournaments actually through the stream. That's
Absolutely.
actually one of the things we do with the stream is help support Amon's GM norm events. So I'm very invested in that, and we haven't traveled together for a big tournament in a long time. I I
And
can,
when you say support, you mean very
financially,
specifically sponsorship. Yeah,
financially, yes.
that's very nice. Very
And
nice. That's why people need to donate and
yeah,
subscribe and, Aman's GM title or bust,
that
right?
beard is getting out of control. It's starting to, I mean, on the plane ride, it's probably going to start tickling me. I won't be able to sleep properly. So, I mean, we need that to go a little bit.
Yeah,
But
yeah. He's pledged not to shave until he's gotten his GM title. Is
yes,
that his?
yes.
Ooh, 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 ooh.
So we've had bad service in 4 restaurants in a row in Montreal. And one
Oh,
time they called the police on us.
what?
So we're thinking about it, and I think it's the beer discrimination now, Yasser.
There's beard discrimination. Well, this must stop. We will organize a protest march immediately.
So we'll have to see. Well, I'm serious, by the way. Actually, it's very interesting how that happens. It's like a social experiment. But we've
Hmm.
had some atrocious service or attitudes or things recently, and in a row, and it's like what's going on here? You know, they think Amon's gonna come to the restaurant and steal their food or something. Like, no, but it's serious. No, I'm not exaggerating. It's pretty
Really?
it's pretty interesting.
I grew up in the barbaric Northwest, the Pacific Northwest of Seattle. And of course, in that whole region, and especially Oregon and Washington and Vancouver, lumber was a very, very key industry. And we had lots and lots, I mean, think tens of thousands of what we called lumberjacks.
Hmm.
And in my popular mm, you know, uh, Paul Bunyan. He was the lumberjack with a beard and, a man's man. I didn't know that beards were being discriminated against. Why? No idea.
We were walking down the street, and there are a lot of panhandlers in Montreal. In fact, from all over Canada, you go to Montreal in the summer when the weather's nice because Montreal is the biggest tourism market. So
Okay.
the weather's nice. There's a lot of free events out, and you get money from tourists.
And the panhandlers are out in force.
And so yeah, from all over Canada, they take the bus. They come over. Well, we're walking down the street the other day, and and somebody asks us for change, and Amon looks at the guy and he replies, who do you think needs it more? You're asking me like with his beard and everything. He's like, dude, where's your change for me? Imagine like okay, I don't have the beard or whatever, but Amon
Right.
just like, dude, I think I need it more than you, buddy. Just to like mess with it because people are starting to like consider giving Amon change and things like that. and and he just and then the guy's like, yeah, you're right, I'm so sorry, dude, because he was just asking, he was asking automatically. It's not that he
Oh,
profiled us,
right,
but then as
right,
soon as
right, exactly.
Amon looks up, we're just Amon looks up and looks at you.
It says, "Are you serious?
Are you serious? Are you serious? Are you serious?"
That's hilarious. Okay.
Because
it's very serious.
We have this idea of going to New York and having Amon hustle people in chess. The beard needs to be utilized properly like that.
Aha.
Imagine
Yeah,
that though. He goes and he just plays people in chess for money. People without beard, you don't see that in chess very much.
No,
You
no.
you can tell somebody maybe is good at chess by the way they move the pieces. But the beard, if he does it properly, I definitely think Amon could hustle nicely, and it would be a
Nice.
cool YouTube video.
Yeah, I think I saw, well, I did see a YouTube video with Maurice Ashley hustling a hustler. But yeah, I think Amon could get away with it, and the beard would definitely be a good disguise. Yeah. Well, Eric, what can I say? I was hoping that we might go into an Armageddon. We're not even been close in any of these matches, and MVL impressively continues to the semifinal. We'll let our audience go. We'll thank them very much for joining us. Please do subscribe and follow and donate, and we'll be very happy campers. And we'll be back. What did you say?
Tuesday morning. Yes.
Yeah. Monday. Wonderful. Free day.
We got a $120 donation.
Fantastic.
Saying that they loved your commentary.
All
From
right.
Maiden47.
Yeah.
Thank you, Maiden47.
Thank you, Maiden47. Maiden47.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we had a
Very nice.
few subscribers as well. So yeah.
Okay.
No, it's
Things are happening.
Yes.
All right. Okay. Until the semis, Eric, enjoy the rest of the weekend, and also to our audience, have a lovely Sunday.
See ya, Yasser. See ya, everybody. Thanks for watching.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye-bye, everybody.